but I think the development of full artificial intelligence could spell the end of the human race.
It's a flying object, and we don't know what it is. I would hope somebody is checking it out.
It was a rocket or whatever, but incredibly fast, opposite direction. It was too fast to be an airplane.
I'm glad the Pentagon is looking at this, because if it poses a threat, I want them on top of it.
Well, the craft generates its own gravitational field.
He says there's lights in the sky?
The internet has become the command center for criminals and terrorists.
911, what's your emergency? I need help, please help me!
Aliens won't let it happen. You know, that's what we're instructed to say.
Roswell, Area 51. Alien kept deep under the ground.
1, 0,
self-serving. You're here for a reason. You're listening to Troubled Minds Radio.
Broadcasting live from a secret bunker just off the extraterrestrial highway. Somewhere in the desert sands outside of Las Vegas. From somewhere in space-time, loosely labeled Generation X on planet Earth. And asking questions of you in earnest into the digital darkness. Good evening and welcome to Troubled Minds Radio. I'm your host, Michael Strange, and hello to all of you who may also have troubled minds. What's going on, guys? It is Thursday night, which is one of the nights we get together and talk about all the things we're not allowed to talk about. You know what those things are. Aliens, conspiracy, the paranormal, the government, academia, the 24-hour news cycle, propaganda, and the general feeling that we live in the upside down. As you know, we do it Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and we're always live, right? This show's live. This has always been a live show because aren't live shows the most fun? That's just the way things are, right? That's the way things go because, like I said, all the imperfections, the ums and ahs, the, the things that happen, audio glitches or whatever that goes down during live shows because things always seem to break during live shows, even at the toppest levels of all the things. So I think that's what makes live so compelling, in my opinion. It's like you just never know what's going to happen. You never know what's going to happen. Is Mike going to lose his mind tonight and start freaking out and howling at the moon? Am I actually going to turn into a vampire tonight or a werewolf tonight on the stream? Is this going to happen? Probably not. Hey, but you never know. You never really know, do you? And that's what's so compelling and amazing about live shows. And so, with that said, we are live. We're doing this live to include you. We've always done it that way. Like I said, ums and ahs and the imperfections and the narratives and all the rest of this. It's just the way it is, right? But it's more valuable to me because, it's just a lot less fun, number one, in a vacuum, recording yourself and having everything just so and just perfect. If you mess up, you can edit things and then put it up and, maybe a much better polished product at the end. But is it more compelling? I don't know, because we get to include you guys because, of course, as you know about me, I'm a connoisseur of news cycles. I like to watch and see what's going on in the zeitgeist and the news cycles and see what, let's say, by process of elimination, what type of stuff they want us to believe, right? In particular, and there's a thing called info ops, information ops, that they actually do this stuff. Governments of the world actually put stories in or press particular stories to make us, distracted. It's a real thing. And, people people get super mad when you suggest that there's some sort of conspiracy afoot with news cycles and manipulation about. But come on now, just pay the hell attention. It's happening. It's happening. And with that said, too, just be careful about what you believe that you hear on any sort of media, including from myself. By the way, I'm not a journalist. I'm not a scientist. I'm not any of that stuff. I'm a good old fashioned talk show host that likes to talk about amazing things and crazy things too, by the way. But just be careful what you hear and what you believe. Just because somebody said it, don't trust the cult of personality. Don't trust that type of stuff, because things can get super ugly and people can say some really, let's say, misleading things. Okay, so well, there you go. As you know about me, I have zero inside sources. I'm just little old me, and watching the news cycles, trying to pluck things that are interesting and stay ahead of the zeitgeist, which seems to be, well, what we do on a regular basis here. So, like I said, no inside sources for me, no special Federation and Galactic Federation ambassadors, nothing like that. Just I have you. The secret weapon of troubled minds is, of course, you. So if you want to be part of the show tonight, as we discuss some wild stuff, monsters from underground, by the way, because why not? We haven't done something like that in quite some time. And there's wouldn't you believe it, an article in the news cycle discussing this very thing. So we're going to talk about that tonight. If you want to be part of the show, we are streaming on Rockfin, YouTube, DLive, and Twitter. And of course, we're broadcasting live on the Fringe FM. And that's what's going on. You can reach the show at 702-957-1037. That's 702-957-1037. And we'll put you on the show. It's as easy as that. You can also click the Discord link at troubledminds.org. That's the official Discord. And of course, the official website of Troubled Minds is troubledminds.org. You can find all the information there regarding the Troubled Minds shop, or you can go there directly at troubledfans.com. And if you want to support the show, Troubled Minds merch is there as well, troubledfans.com. Anyway, there you go. So Discord, of course, is a chat client. It's a voice client. It's completely free. And there you go. We can share ideas and communicate over there. So there you go. That's that. Okay. So as we say all that, just one thing real quick as well. We are broadcasting live on the Fringe FM. And what that means is that's digital radio. And what that also means, also, by the way, shout out over in the Discord over there on Fringe Discord. Somebody said that it was dead air, silent again. Is that right? Sammy, can you verify that we're actually on that? Can anybody make sure that I'm not just saying this when anyway, so can anybody please verify we're on Fringe? I can't do it live clearly because anyway, so there you go. All right, so Fringe is actually needs some help. How about that? That's the best way to put this, is that like I said, it's free for everybody to listen to. 24 hours of great programming, talk radio, and there's music being played recently, and all kinds of great things going on there. Like I said, it is completely free, but at some point the bills do need to be paid. So please, if you can help out, Fringe is in need. Fringe.fm/donations. Few bucks, if that's all you got to spare, would be fantastic. And it does help the world go around as far as Fringe is concerned and all the great programming here. All right, let's go. Let's do it. This is the thing, right? Hey, you want the monsters? I got your monsters right here. Here you go. We got this. This is from, okay, this isn't exactly the most reputable source, but it is worthy of beginning a conversation. So we'll start here. AlienUFOsightings.com. All right. Well, this is where this begins. Okay. I saw this and was like, I posted it in the Discord yesterday and asked a trusted circle of friends, do you think this is too much, guys? Do you think this is too much? And I got some interest, so I'm not so sure. But here you go. This is the headline. Time traveler warns new creatures will emerge when ground opens and millions vanish. And this is from May 18th. So this is basically hot off the press, okay? Hot off the press. What does it mean? It gave me a little bit of a bellyache at first, to be perfectly honest, because we're talking about TikTok time travelers. And we've talked about TikTok time travelers in the past. And you know what that means. They're, let's say, what's the best way to say this? Let's say fake. It's fake. It's fake. I mean, let's just be real. It's fake, all right? But again, as you know, we do a little bit of conspiracy speculation theater sometimes. So let's just entertain the thought. Let's consider, what if, all right? What if TikTok time travelers are real? What if information they're bringing to us through TikTok is actually from the future? And what if this summer Creatures will emerge when the ground opens and millions of people vanish. Let's consider that. Why not? Because you know what? It may seem ridiculous on its face, but there's some interesting things that sort of correlate with this particular thing in the news cycle currently, which you may be shocked about. So we'll get to that in a little bit. But look, let's read some of this. This is, again, straight from alien-ufo-sightings.com. As always, my sources are linked in the description down below. You can find that if you want to double check me and be like, no way. This Mike guy is totally making this stuff up. Nope, I'm not. Somebody else may be, but it's not me. Okay, so here you go. Check this out. A new species called stalkers will supposedly be discovered this year as a so-called time traveler has warned the ground will split open in the U.S. and millions of people around the world will vanish. Dun, dun, dun. Cue the dramatic music. A TikToker who claims to have leaked information from a self-proclaimed time traveler has issued a chilling warning for apocalyptic events that are set to begin this summer. This summer. Yeah, it's about to be a hot summer, isn't it? It's already 100 degrees here in Vegas, and it is magnificent. Anyway, I digress. Kawhi Leonard, also known as the Hidden God 1, claims in his video that the ground across the U.S. will split just months before a deadly new species are discovered and millions of people are declared missing. The terrifying prophecies are said to take place on specific dates between July and October, which TikTok users have been urged to remember. The old telling the future from the time traveler, and of course, why not monsters? Hey, if we're talking about this, why not monsters, right? Let's do the monster thing. So, okay, as you know, we did do a show in the past on TikTok time travelers, and it was kind of let's say facepalm, right? I mean, like I said, but again, this story. Or this, not just this story, this show is about what we call drinking the maybe juice. And what that just means is that Aristotle, to paraphrase, said it is the mark of an educated mind to be able to entertain a thought without accepting it. So let's just accept for the evening that TikTok time travelers are real. Let's assume for the evening that the warning for this summer, specific dates, which we'll get to, are actually kind of an actual prophecy, a harbinger of things to come regarding underground monsters and millions of people missing. Why not, right? Hey, why not? It's Thursday night, which is like a Trouble Minds Friday because we don't do the show tomorrow. Fridays we take the night off. But I mean, look, why not, right? Why not? We'll call this a little bit of conspiracy speculation theater. It's good to decouple from the sort of the more serious type news cycle and even the more serious cosmic musings, and just consider underground monsters for just a moment. So there we go. That's where this comes from. And if you take a look, let's read a little bit more of this. The clip said, "Warning. A leaked document from a time traveler has warned us to remember these dates for 2022. July 14th. The Great Split and America's biggest earthquake." All right, that's July 14th. August 9th. Over 2 million people around the world mysteriously disappear. October 3rd. Creatures known as stalkers will appear around the globe. This makes for a fantastic sci-fi novel if I'm a connoisseur of such things, and I may be. So it is unclear whether the spine-chilling warnings are linked, but some of Leonard's fans wasted no time, leaving prayers of hope for the future of humanity in the comments, of course. Well, it is TikTok after all. And one wrote, "Only Allah knows what will happen. Please protect us." Another said, "The comment section is now a church." Okay, well, the comment sections. I tell you what, the comment section has got to be one of the hottest places on the internet, right? Sometimes like one well-written, perfectly placed comment can really be better than the content itself. So in any case, this is what we're talking about tonight. So what do you know about, number one, do you believe time travel is real? Let's start there. All right, the questions for tonight. Do you believe that time travel is actually possible? Because, of course, it has to be considered as a possibility if we're going to consider that this TikTok time traveler is actually real. All right? Okay, there's that. That's the first question. The second question is, what do you know about the inner Earth? Do you think that it's possible that there is some sort of maybe species that still lives underground and, well, maybe will come to the surface? Maybe not this summer, but we can say this summer, because let's roll with the prophecy here, the wink wink TikTok prophecy, which seems ridiculous, but okay, we'll just roll with that, all right? Let's roll with that. So number 2, do you think it's possible that there's still maybe creatures living, let's say, underneath the earth itself, underneath the crust or whatever, and they've been there for a long time, or who knows, maybe they haven't. Maybe there's a portal in the inner earth and that opened because of some reason, who knows? Let's make up the reasons, because we're kind of doing that, kind of writing some fan fiction, like some collaborative fan fiction tonight while we're at it. Why not? But so let's say there's something like that. Okay, something like that goes down. Do you think that it's possible that, number 1, time travel is real, and then 2, that there are monsters, or let's say a species as yet unidentified living under our feet? There you go. I think that's a couple of good ones. And then what about prophecies? We can mix it in and do all 3 at the same time, because we can walk and chew bubblegum at the same time. But what are your thoughts on all these things? What do you think about TikTok time travelers? What do you think about underground monsters? What about these things called the stalkers? Yeah, right? Yeah, why not? Hey, why not? It's like I said, it's Thursday night, and we haven't done conspiracy speculation theater in quite some time, so let's do this. Let's do this tonight. Why not? So there you go. If you want to be part of the show, those are the questions. 702-957-1037. That's 702-957-1037. We'll put you on the show. It's as simple as that. Remember, this is from a TikTok time traveler, so don't, let's just say, spoiler alert, don't take this too seriously. Okay. All right, so that's that. This is where this came from, alien UFO sightings. I tried to dig in and find the actual the TikTok video itself, and it wasn't linked here. And I'm not a big TikToker, so I was just like, okay, I can do without the video. We'll just roll with this article and assume that they're reporting this accurately. Okay, let's see. So here's the dates again, right? This is the crazy stuff they're saying. July 14th, the Great Split, America's biggest earthquake, and there's going to be some sort of a fissure, some sort of a thing that opens up in the ground this summer. It's going to be gigantic, right? Like a huge chasm. Okay, fine. You know, hopefully everybody's safe and everything's fine. You know, because we are writing fan fiction here. Then here we go. August 9th. Over 2 million people around the world will mysteriously disappear. Now, it's unclear exactly why they will disappear, okay? But let's say that if this is the case, then, we've got the rapture sort of situation. Let's throw that in. Maybe like Thanos snapped his finger and like 2 million people just vanished. I don't know. What's going on with this? We got some biblical connotations. We got some Marvel Cinematic Universe going on. Why not, right? Why not? Okay. And then the final date is October 3rd. Creatures known as stalkers will appear around the globe. Presumably, of course, from this great fissure that was opened up as part of the America's largest earthquake that happens, again, according to the TikTok time travelers, July 14th. So, what are your thoughts? Is this too much, Michael Strange? Now you've done it. Now you've really gone too far, Mike. This is ridiculous. I don't know. I think it's interesting. I think it's fascinating. Let's consider the possibilities. 702-957-1037. That's 702-957-1037. Let's see. Let's go to... Let's see. Who is this? This looks like... I think this is a... Is this a Game Vet 02? Test 1, 2?
That's right.
What's up, bro? What's up? I'm doing great, man. How are you tonight?
I'm all right, man. I'm on the road. I can hit the air horn for Michael Strange.
Nice. I love it. Drive safe out there, buddy. What's on your mind? Go right ahead.
Okay, so this is a great topic, by the way. I love it. Now, all you guys know that I am a truck driver. I'm always driving when I'm listening to you. Stuff like that. I'm basically all the new people have a lifetime experiencer. I've been seeing UFOs since like 93, 92, somewhere in there. And with this topic now, last year, just before it was fall, I actually witnessed something in the ditch. Now, what's really strange about it is, it wasn't anything, any non-mammal or whatever that I could possibly think of. It was, I don't know, you guys know the Grimace character or what a gumdrop looks like, right? That style shape. I don't want to say the shape because we're on radio, but this thing was kind of wide, about 6.5 feet tall, maybe 7 feet tall. It had a octagon red eye. It was standing in the ditch, and it had 3 deer carcasses, like one at 12 o'clock, one at 9 o'clock, and one at 3 o'clock, like laid out like carpets right in front of it. And now, I don't know if that's what they're talking about, is that creature, but it's freaked me out ever since I've seen that. And lately, after seeing that, there was in the same area, it was in Wisconsin, the same area there. A week later, I heard the metal grinding noise, that sound that's been caught all around the world back in, what was that, late 90s? Well, after I saw that creature, I heard that noise. So I don't know if that's got something to do with it at all or not, but, here's the maybe juice part of the whole thing. So when I listen to, once in a while I listen to this other radio show, and they have this other guy, this other experiencer on the show. His name is Keith, and that's all I'm going to say. But I called in and I asked the question, what is that type creature? This guy says that creature, he says it's strange that it's above ground because that creature lives below ground.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Is this the same thing?
Yeah.
Are we talking about the same thing here? It might seem like it. Are you saying you found a scouting party for the stalkers, my friend?
Maybe. I mean, I know what I saw, but I don't know what I saw. You know what I mean? But it was there, and I was working, and I know I saw it, and a week later, other people recorded the metal grinding noise, stuff like that. But yeah, I do honestly. I mean, you guys don't have to believe me. You know what I mean? I'm just a truck driver or whatever. But as a witness to whatever that was, and for Chief to say that's something that's a creature from underground, I mean, that's too close to that.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, totally. Seems like we got some synchronicities going on here. So okay, and
Right.
You did see it the one time. Did you ever see anything else like this again, or was that just a one-time thing?
No, that was a one-time thing. The only other thing I saw was like 3 years ago. Was this creature? Now you guys are gonna laugh because it does sound funny, but it's not. I saw this creature as I was exiting the highway. It looked like a bunny. It looked like a kangaroo body. The thing was about 2 feet tall, and then it had its head. It looked like Alf from the TV show Alf. You know, that creature's like, oh, Willie, or whatever. But the eyes were like spread apart further, almost closer to the ears. And the strange thing about that was when it was turned sideways, so it was actually looking towards the ditch and I was coming down the road. And it was standing right by the line on my left side. And as soon as I got close to it, it turned forward the way I'm facing. And it turned into a little black line, like a pencil line. You could barely see it. And then as I got closer yet to it, it started, like, I didn't see it. It disappeared for a second. All of a sudden, it was on the shoulder. It turned to its side again, so I could see the side of it. And then its head turned at me and almost did it looked like it was hissing at me or something. It was it had its mouth open, kind of like what possums do, when they get too close, they do that.
Nice.
You
Yeah.
know?
Hey, we're out of time, my friend. We got to go. We got to go. We got to take a break. So you're saying maybe. I appreciate the phone call. Sightings on 18 wheels.
Yeah.
Be safe out there. Have a fantastic one. We'll talk to you soon, okay? I appreciate the call.
All right, thanks, buddy.
Thanks a lot. There you go. Sightings on 18 Wheels. He's got a YouTube channel. Check it out. Links all the way down on the bottom of our YouTube channel. But don't go anywhere. More Troubled Minds on the way. Underground Monsters. Millions missing this summer. TikTok time travelers. Is any of this real? Be right back. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back to Troubled Minds. I'm your host, Michael Strange, and we are streaming on Rockfin, YouTube, DLive, and Twitter, and we are broadcasting live on the Fringe FM. Tonight, we're taking your phone calls as we discuss this idea about a prophecy, about a time traveler, about a TikToker that says this summer there will be a giant earthquake and the ground will split asunder. And shortly thereafter, people will start to go missing by the millions. And then shortly thereafter yet, an ancient race of something, species of something known as stalkers will emerge and wreak havoc upon the earth. There you go. There's the brief version of that. What do you think? Like I said, this is from a TikTok video, and another one of these. We got a rash of TikTok time travelers that these guys just won't go away. But I thought this was a fun one to play with because there's a lot to this. Because there's some other articles in the zeitgeist in the news cycle that seem to maybe track and even somehow, let's say in an odd way, corroborate that this may be true. Okay, so bear with me on that. I'm not claiming this is true. This is just a discussion. We're having a good time. Conspiracy, speculation, theater. Everybody relax. This is not the end of the world. I'm pretty sure of it. But we're taking your phone calls. What do you think about this? Underground monsters, millions missing, a huge earthquake, an ancient race of entities or beasts or who knows, demons or you name it. I don't know what these things could be. Known as stalkers that come from, let's say, under our feet in the center of the earth somewhere. They're going to come out and cause calamity this summer. Love to hear your thoughts at 702-957-1037. That's 702-957-1037. And we'll put you on the show. It's as easy as that. Real quick, too, we're on the Fringe FM digital radio. The Fringe needs some help. Please go to fringe.fm/donations if you can spare a few bucks. Kick it in the bucket. And like I said, it's always free and for everybody, but eventually somebody's got to pay the bills. So appreciate that if you guys can just spare some good old-fashioned greenbacks for the Fringe. All right, let's do it. We're talking about underground monsters, millions missing this summer, a huge earthquake, and a TikTok time traveler. What do you think? 702-957-1037. Let's go to Robert in Pennsylvania. What's up, my friend? Welcome to Troubled Minds. How are you tonight?
Oh, I'm fine. I would think that if there's any credibility to this guy, and I'm sure most people listening in probably have doubts, but it's the California earthquake, right? That's been predicted, the big one being predicted for decades. It finally hits sometime between July and September, and of course the 200 million people will disappear if that happens.
So maybe. So again, it is. So you're talking about the San Andreas Fault in California. I know it very well. I've lived there. They've been talking about the big one since the 1906 earthquake, I believe it was, that burned down a huge portion of San Francisco back in the day. And we have been waiting sort of on tenterhooks timidly for the next big one because we don't know when it's going to hit. But they do say that the San Andreas Fault has taken on a lot of pressure. And of course, that pressure has to be released at some point. So maybe. I think at least in that term, this tracks, right? I think that part makes a little sense.
Sure, Las Vegas will be oceanfront property.
Yeah. Hey, I'm ahead of the game per usual. Ready to go.
Mm-hmm. As far as these stalkers, though, that brought to mind something I remember from a long time ago. There was a magazine. It's still, matter of fact, it's still in. Publishes amazing stories, and there was a Richard Shaver who sent this whole book, this whole manuscript, into amazing stories about an underground malevolent race of people called what's called the Dero, D-E-R-O, that he claimed were personally responsible for a lot of the wars and all the bad things that have happened to civilization, in the last few hundred years. I'm going to put a link onto that, about that, because a lot of people don't seem to have forgotten this, but this was a big thing back then. This and the guy that published Amazing Stories, he communicated with this Shaver, and Shaver kept giving him one piece after another for the magazine, and I saved the magazine from bankruptcy, actually. And I just think people might be interested in that story. But I mean, I personally think that there's probably something to it. Although Shaver was probably some kind of had some mental problems, from what I understand. And I'm putting the link up now. That would explain what Shaver was talking about. Because certainly, if the ground splits, dramatically like that, it would certainly bring those underground dwellers to the surface, and they are not good people. They are not. They don't like us, and matter of fact, they're cannibals. Matter of fact, it sounds a lot like something from the Time Machine, in the manner of which they lived, because they've been abducted from what the Shaver said back in the late 40s. What he claimed was they actually would abduct people who walked into their caves and take them and cannibalize them.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing when we got started tonight. I'm like, this is very reminiscent of that the Time Machine and the Morlocks, right? That's very, very similar to what this sounds like.
Yes, it does. And anyway, that's basically what I called for, to point that out, that there are legends of underground people who don't have a fondness for us ground dwellers, and I can see that happening. It'd be interesting. I'll certainly be paying attention in July, September.
I got the date for you, July 14th, 2022. If there's a big earthquake that day, I think we're all going to crap our pants collectively, wouldn't you say?
I remember the big earthquake in San Francisco back in, what was that, late 70s, something like that. I think it happened.
1989.
That was devastating enough. 1989, okay. Time passes.
I was there. I was there.
It's a horrible thing. Horrible thing. Yeah, but there was one. There was one before that too. I'm trying, because I have a memory. I was just a teenager then, or something. And there was something that went on there. I was still living at home. But if that, you take that San Francisco earthquake, and you stretch it all along the doggone center, straight through the middle of California, you're going to lose them. You're going to lose millions of people. They're going to fall into the crevice, and the crevice is going to open and close and open and close, and and eat those people up. And if there is anything underground, any civilization living underground, it certainly would be living under California or any place else. It certainly would make them cause them to have to come up. Take a look around.
At the very least, wake them up from the nap, right?
Sure.
Definitely. I love it. I never did this Richard Shaver, the Richard Sharp Shaver. You brought this up one time before, and I never got back to this. I keep, please remind me. I know you're always very good about giving me great ideas in the Discord, but dump this in there from, let's say, maybe not immediately, because it'll too similar to this story, but I think we should go back and talk about Richard Sharp Shaver and these ideas about, I remember
Michael,
Lemuria. Yeah.
Michael, I put a link there. That's to a Wikipedia page. All right, that's where to start. All right, his books are still available. The Shaver books are still available on Amazon. But if you Google Richard Shaver, you'll come up with a million links to that story. And like I said, like you just said, it's a little early to go into that because you're dealing with this similar topic now. But I'm more than willing to pick up and do some research, try to recall all, because I was really fascinated by this back in the day. Try to put it all together and maybe send you some more links.
Right on. I would appreciate that very much.
Really, that would be a fantastic show about the Dero, all right, and what was going on back here with Amazing Stories and Richard Shaver. I haven't seen anyone, basically anybody that deals with these types of topics in any forum really pay much attention to that or deal with that. That would be a really, really interesting show for you to do.
Okay, we'll definitely put it on. We'll put it on the docket, and I promise you we'll get there one of these days, okay? That's the second time you brought it up, and I completely forgot about it the first time, to be perfectly honest. But last time we did talk in similar terms with the time machine, the Morlocks.
You have a lot on your mind. You have a lot on your mind. You got all this to do in your personal life and taking care of your dog, and it's easy to forget things.
Amen to that. Thank you for understanding. You're the best, brother. What else you got for us tonight? Do you think this is possible that this might happen this summer?
Sure, it's possible. It could happen tomorrow. I mean, California's overdue. We have Yellowstone. That volcano's overdue for a 50,000-year eruption. All kinds of things could happen this year.
Right on. I'm with you. Hey, drinking the maybe juice. Let's say maybe. Let's watch for that date, July 14th, and I'll be talking about it then, probably, of course. You're the best, bro.
And then again, it could be the Earth splits over in China. China seems to be under a dark cloud these days. Everything that can go wrong is going wrong over there, and they've certainly had their share of earthquakes. They can get one big one too, and they can lose millions of people. It could be anywhere. But yeah, I think that it's more. It's not. I think it could happen because it's going to happen sooner or later.
I think that's true.
We've been predicting this. People have been worried about this for as long as I've been alive, and we'll just have to see. But then you have the other side. How many times have you seen somebody gone on Reddit or TikTok and claimed to be a time traveler, and they turned out to be full of it? All right, but they're interesting to follow when they first start, until they're exposed for what as some imposter. But I'd like to see you do a whole show also on I think you did, on the various time travelers that claim to be time travelers on Reddit and things like that. I think you already did a show like that.
Yeah, but there's so many more. We'll add that to the list as well. But yeah, there's a ton of people that always claim this stuff, and including the big one, right? The what's the guy's name? Can't remember the guy's name. But yeah, there's like a very, very famous time travel story that has something to do with like some old like the first computer or something like this. I can't remember the guy's name, but yeah, I mean, it's wild to think about. But like I said, until somebody shows me the time travel device, I'm gonna, let's say, drink a little less maybe juice on it. But it is fun to consider.
Yeah, but the fact of the matter is that sooner or later, the technology is going to be there to do that. I mean, it's going to happen. We're going to be able to conquer time. I don't know whether it's going to be 50 years from now or 100 years from now, but sooner or later we're going to be able to. So it just seems to me that since that's an inevitable thing, that it's very likely that we had time travelers walking among us now.
It would be difficult to tell if we couldn't find the time travel device. That's for sure. Or
that's how kids will in school in the future will will go on their field trips. Instead of picking up a book, or surfing the internet for interesting, to learn about history, they get in the time capsule and they just go back and witness it personally. I think that's probably happening now. That's been going on.
I love it. So maybe this isn't too far out there. We're just looking for proof of somebody with actual predictions that actually come true. So we'll keep an eye on July 14th.
It's not too far out there at all. It's not too far out there at all. Now, it may be too far out there for him to have been a real authentic time traveler, but what he's talking about, the Earth ripping apart and millions of people going missing, there's some credibility to any of that. Because that's the nature. The Earth does not settle. It doesn't stay stable. It will break up, and I'm sure that's legitimate. Whether he's legitimate, that's another thing.
That's another thing, exactly. It's not a matter of if, it's when, and if he predicts it to the day, well, I'll start to pay attention. You're the best, Robert. I appreciate it very much. Thanks for the call. Thanks for listening. Thanks for reminding me. Sorry, go ahead.
You'll do an immediate show on it if on the 14th of July his prediction comes true. You'll do an immediate show on it.
Heck yes, I'm putting it on the calendar. 100%. You're the best, Robert. I appreciate the phone call. Always a pleasure.
Okay, talk to you later.
Thanks for listening. Have a fantastic night. That's Robert, the Robert, affectionately known as the Robert. He's a writer. He's got a book called Stories from a Fractured Mind, the Robert Collection. Check it out. Links in the description down below. He does not call to have me plug his book. He was kind enough to send me a couple copies. I read it, and I think it's really good. He's, like I said, a mix in my mind between Philip K. Dick and Rod Serling is his style of writing. Very, very good stuff. We're still talking about this. Underground monsters, millions missing this summer. And, of course, right, the source goes back to, wouldn't you know it, TikTok time travelers. What do you know about this? A time traveler warns new creatures will emerge when ground opens and millions vanish. That's the brief version of this. Now, there are reasons to suggest, right? We've talked about the inner Earth before, Agartha, and maybe there's entities living under there that may be forgotten. We've talked about Bigfoot, and we've talked about things like that, right? In terms of, well, if Bigfoot, he's seen from time to time, he or she, whatever. Yeah. Pop on in, Derek. You're up. Let's go to Derek in Massachusetts. We're talking time traveler, creatures emerging from the under the ground, millions vanishing. What's going on? Derek the Night Stalker. How are you, my friend? Welcome to Troubled Minds.
What's going on, Mike? Great show.
Thank you. Not too far off the rails for you?
No, it's perfect. I don't have too much to add. It's a crazy night here. We're a little short-handed at the store. We're down one stalker, so it's gonna be great when the giant abyss opens up and all the stalkers come. We can maybe hire some for the supermarket.
The actual stalkers.
Yeah, but I'm pumped for the summer of stalker. I'm ready for it. It could be a sign for good stuff happening for me. Maybe, who knows? But yeah, so. As far as, I'll be real quick, but as far as like pop culture stuff, there was a show that dropped on Amazon like a month ago, or maybe 5 weeks ago, with Josh Brolin, and it's been compared to, it's been called Yellowstone. That's like the show Yellowstone. Yellowstone meets True Detective meets Stranger Things, basically. And like the commercial and like the opening line of the show is, "Have you ever heard of a god called Kronos?" And it's like Josh Brolin, and it's the whole point of the show is there's this ranch that like Ed Harris wants to buy from Josh Brolin, like a piece of his ranch. And this big weird void opens up on the ranch, and basically the show is like trying to figure out what that void is. And I haven't finished it, so I don't know what it is. I don't know if anything pops out of it in the way it does in the story. But invoking Kronos, who is the god of time, synchronistically. And then, as far as the TikTok time traveler thing in general, I don't nearly any credence to it at all. It's just a cool thing to kind of have. To look forward to, or just to put in your back pocket, so if something weird does happen, then maybe you can point to it and be like, hey, maybe they weren't so weird. And who knows, like, I do believe people have abilities to see into the future, possibly. So maybe if there's 1,000 fake ones, there could be one real one, and that might be why they're doing it, because they know there is one real one on there, and they're trying to just flood the market with fake ones. But it's synchronistic that all the time travelers are popping up on TikTok, an app called TikTok, which is time, like TikTok of a clock,
Yeah, definitely.
And then, so the idea of the abyss opening up and like something coming up, that's basically just the biblical apocalypse. We have the rapture, which is this mass vanishing, and then the gates of opening. and there's all kinds of stuff pouring out. They call them stalkers, but that could be demons. It could be anything. And as far as like, it's kind of, again, synchronistic that I talk about the Titans all the time, and Kronos, who is the god of time, is locked away in Tartarus, this place underground or in a metaphysical realm or what have you. Most likely when it happens, when he's released, it will seem like the ground opens up, the abyss opens up, or whatever, you know. In that Hercules movie from the 90s, the animated one from Disney, that's what it looks like. Just the hole opens up, like the water spreads, hole opens up in the ground, and these huge primordial beasts come and wreak havoc, you know. So when that happens, all kinds of monsters, that's the dimensions will merge together. The upside down leaks into our world, and call them demigorgons, call them mind flayers, call them stalkers, or what have you. But it's very, very weird that this thing's going to happen this summer. But I mean, we've been saying that we're due. Cthulhu's due, so why not this summer? If I had to put money on it, if I had money on it, let's just say it's probably not going to happen. But yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
No. And so hopefully it's I'm not down with the millions of people ending up missing, right? But let's say it is the rapture sort of situation, then maybe that's a good thing, right? Maybe it's a good thing.
It's possible. It's possible. I mean, yeah. I mean, it could be. There's a lot of different vanishings and mass like the rapture is one of them. But we talked about the UFO, New Age people, and they talked about the ascension and stuff. So maybe a reason for the aliens to come is because they know the gates of hell are about to open up and the abyss is about to pour out, and they're going to send down some UFO ark for us, you know, and that's why the government's talking about them, because they want to get off the earth. They want the invite in because they know something from below is coming, so something from above has to save us, or the UFOs are demons and they're going to pour out of the ground instead of the sky. Who knows? But I gotta get going. Great show, Mike. Awesome stuff.
Appreciate it, man.
Fun show.
You're the
Summer Stalker.
Summer Stalker. Here we go. You're the best.
Later,
Derek, appreciate it. Derek in Massachusetts, the Night Stalker. Everybody loves the Night Stalker. He's got a YouTube channel. Check it out. A brilliant dude, good friend of mine, good friend of Troubled Minds. And as you can tell, he's always on the ball with this stuff. He's the synchro mystic of Troubled Minds. And you know what? The crazy part is that this is the type of stuff he's always talking about, and he's right. Like talking about Kronos and time, and it's sort of the synchro mysticism of not just the let's say the earthquake, which as Robert said is coming. It's not a matter of if, it's when. But then what about these monsters in the center of the earth? That becomes a whole other thing. By the way, Robert, I just added to my calendar the July 14th will be a Thursday, and that's the day that the earthquake is predicted by the TikTok time traveler. So I've added it. Thank you for the phone calls, Robert, and of course Derek the Night Stalker. Again, give them a follow. Derek has a YouTube channel, and Robert has a book that he sells, and do check that out. Great stuff from both of those guys. So what do you think? Again, like I said, again, a little bit of conspiracy speculation theater here. That I don't want anybody to take this too seriously. This is, again, we're talking about TikTok time travelers, and you have to say it right, because sometimes people are like, Michael Strange said it, the monsters are coming this summer. No, I kind of didn't. I said, let's consider maybe if this TikTok time traveler is real, that maybe this might be a thing. So what do you think? I'm not the arbiter of any truth whatsoever, but I do love to hear your theories. What do you think about TikTok time travelers? What do you think about underground monsters? What do you think about earthquakes and, let's say, millions missing this summer? What do you think about predictions in general? I kind of hate them myself. I kind of hate predictions for a number of reasons, right? Because, if people believe them a little too hard, it really sort of removes hope from the situation. And I hate that. I think hope is one of the greatest superpowers of the human population. So I don't like removing hope. So, please don't believe this is a prophecy. It is not. It is a TikTok time traveler. And of course, as we've found out in the past, usually that means it's a bunch of BS. But what are your theories anyway regarding underground monsters, predictions, TikTok time travelers, and all the rest of this? What about Agartha? I'm going to get to some reasons why this may not be so far-fetched. You're listening to Troubled Minds. I am Michael Strange. Don't go anywhere. More underground monsters, predictions, TikTok time travelers, and your phone calls when we return. Be right back. We are talking about the alien abduction phenomenon.
The aliens are looking through your eyes and they're accessing your optic nerve. I'm doing fantastic. And through that optic nerve, they're transferring to your brain. People random images as they traverse neurons in the brain.
All right, so maybe,
and they also feel them planting or receiving memories or ideas or images.
Broadcasting live from a secret bunker just off the extraterrestrial highway. Somewhere in the desert sands outside of Las Vegas. From somewhere in space-time, loosely labeled Generation X on planet Earth. And asking questions of you in earnest into the digital darkness.
Yo ho, yo ho. Welcome to Troubled Minds Radio. I'm your host, Michael Strange, and hello to all of you who may also have troubled minds. What's going on, guys? It's Thursday night, which is one of the nights we get together to talk about all the things we're not allowed to talk about. That's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday at 7 p.m. Pacific. What are those things, you may wonder? There's way too much, so I got to sum up. Aliens, conspiracy, the paranormal, the government, academia, the 24-hour news cycle, propaganda, and the general feeling that we live in the upside down. You know what that means? Everybody's seen Stranger Things, right? The upside down. Indeed. Just like Cube said over on Rockfin just a minute ago. Silly Mike, the monsters aren't coming. They're already here. Ha! There you go. That's what living in the upside down means. All right, so as usual, we're doing this live and to include you and take your phone calls. Fantastic calls so far by my good friend, the GameVet02, sightings on 18 wheels, and of course the Robert from Rockfin and Derek the Night Stalker. I appreciate it very much, guys. And we're looking to hear from you as we discuss this idea of, you guessed it, we're talking about, once again, that seems to just keep coming back, the TikTok time travelers. And this time we have an actual, let's say, a prophecy by a TikTok time traveler that goes by the name, let's do this. Let's go straight to the article here. Links in the description down below if you want to check it out. I'm not totally making this up. The guy's name is Kawhi Leonard, known as the Hidden God 1 on TikTok. Well, because of course, right? Why not, right? But he says this. A new species called stalkers will supposedly be discovered this year, as a so-called time traveler has warned the ground will split open in the United States and millions of people around the world will vanish. Oh, so we've got an earthquake. He's given the date, July 14th. And then he's given the date, there you go, July 14th, the Great Split, America's biggest earthquake. Then he's got August 9th, over 2 million people around the world will mysteriously disappear. And then he's got October 3rd, creatures known as stalkers will appear around the globe. There you go. Well, I got July 14th on my calendar, and if this happens, you better believe we'll be the first ones talking about it. But again, like I said, I do not believe in, I just don't believe in this stuff. I don't personally. But again, right, I think this is the interesting thing about belief, right? Belief is one of those fantastic things that it kind of doesn't matter what you believe, does it? I mean, it does on a personal basis, but the universe kind of doesn't give a crap about what you believe. The universe is going to do what the universe does, regardless of what you believe. So there's that. All right, there's that. So it is a curious thing, and so it doesn't really matter what I believe, but it doesn't matter what you believe, because that's what this is about. We do this live to include you. We're streaming on Rockfin, YouTube, DLive, and Twitter, and of course we're broadcasting live on the Fringe FM. We're taking your phone calls. Love to hear your thoughts on this. What do you think about monsters from underground? What do you think about a giant earthquake predicted for July 14th? What about millions of people missing? They're not dead. I think it's kind of unclear regarding the TikTok, let's say, prophecy. All right, I think it's unclear if it's not people dead, just missing, sort of like Thanos style from the MCU and the Infinity War. You snap your fingers and just 2 million people are gone. Sort of like the Rapture, like Derek was talking about. A little bit like that. I think that's what we're talking about here, right? So maybe we got some biblical, interesting, let's say, threads in this. And I don't know. Like I said, I'm not taking this very seriously, and nor should you, to be perfectly honest, in my opinion. But I'm just one guy. What do I know? 702-957-1037. Click the Discord link at troubledminds.org. We'll put you on the show talking about underground monsters, millions missing this summer, TikTok time travelers. What do you believe about any of this? Do you think it's all horse manure? Because if you do, you might be right. Like I said, we're calling this a conspiracy speculation theater. We do that from time to time, talking about alien invasions hypothetically and other stuff. So why not? Let's just do this and say, let's say maybe this summer is going to be the summer of the stalkers. So what do you think? As we do this, right, we're doing our thing and just kicking it, talking about all kinds of crazy stuff. As we do, as you know, we are, like I said, broadcasting live on the Fringe FM. That's a digital radio station. Many of you know this, and most of you know this. We talk about it every single night. Good stuff going on over there. A lot of good individuals, including myself, Michael Strange, doing Troubled Minds on Fringe. Fringe needs a little bit of help. If you guys can kick in a few bucks, if you can spare it, I appreciate that very much. Fringe.fm/donations. You can, there you go. The goal's up there, and you can see exactly what's going on with that. And like I said, it's free for everybody, but at some point, somebody does have to pay the bills on the station and keep things going. So would appreciate that very much. So one more time, fringe.fm/donations. All right, let's do it. Let's get back to this. Underground monsters. Millions missing this summer. A giant earthquake, a fissure, a giant chasm opens up in the United States and millions go missing. And shortly thereafter, that's right, monsters appear known as stalkers. Dun, dun, dun. Cue the music, right? I don't know. This is a little bit odd, but it's okay. Like I said, this leads to a lot of different things. But as always, right, what do you believe? 702-957-1037. That's 702-957-1037. Let's go to, I'm not exactly sure who this is. Looks like it says Mike in Colorado. What's up? Welcome to Troubled Minds. Is that correct?
Yeah, hi.
What's going on? Welcome to Troubled Minds. What's on your mind tonight?
Hey, this is Mike/Matt from Colorado.
Oh, Matt. It says on the call screener, Mike. What's up, Matt? Welcome back to Troubled Minds. You called last night. I appreciate it very much. Thanks for coming back. What's your thought on this?
Right.
Underground monsters.
So
what's going on?
Mike, because last night you called me Mike 3 times, so I said Mike from Colorado.
Oh, gotcha. You're all right. Hey, all right, Matt from Colorado. Let's get your name right. I have a hard enough time with names myself. Let's not mess with me. That was an honest mistake. But welcome back. I'm glad you called back. What's on your mind tonight, my friend?
I'm kind of thinking from now on we should call me Mike from Colorado. I like it.
Okay, if you like it, I like it. As long as it doesn't bother you, it doesn't bother me. Go right ahead. I'm sure you got some ideas about monsters.
You know, I just tuned into the program. I just barely heard what you were talking about. But when I came in you were talking about beliefs, and you said a couple of sentences about beliefs, and you said that, something like, but that's the nature of beliefs, and the universe doesn't really care what your beliefs are because it is what it is.
Meaning that if the universe is going to do what the universe is going to do, no matter what you believe, it's not going to change what the universe can and will do. That's what I was getting at.
Right. Okay. Wrap my head around that for a second, but yeah, and I think that's a general principle about beliefs, and that people. I don't mean to be sarcastic or funny, but it kind of is. People believe their beliefs. You know what I'm saying? They believe their beliefs are true or truth or reality or going to become reality. But those are two different things. They're one's a belief, one's reality. Right?
That is correct. That is correct.
Yeah, I'm having a little trouble hearing you. But so, what's going to happen is what's going to happen regardless of what you believe is going to happen. And what is, meaning that which is real, regardless of your beliefs about what is real. So just take a quick example. Okay, let's say Sasquatch is real, but you don't believe in him. Sasquatch is still real. Or let's say Sasquatch is not real, but you do believe in him. Well, you believing in Sasquatch doesn't make Sasquatch real. So your beliefs are really
irrelevant.
Whatever.
Mostly irrelevant, right? Mostly irrelevant.
Mostly irrelevant. And so the next step up, we were talking about knowledge and wisdom a little bit last time. I mentioned knowledge and wisdom. You remember I said knowledge is my best friend, wisdom is my lover. And knowledge is a little different than beliefs, okay? So knowledge is from knowing. So things that can be known, they are true if they're known and they are commensurate with reality. That is, they agree with what's actually real, with what's actually true. And that's a very distinct thing from belief. The trouble is, right, Mark Twain said, the problem isn't with what you think you know. The problem is with what you think you know that just ain't so.
And that's a fact. That's a fact, Jack. I don't like to deal in facts because it's let's say it's a slippery fish is what I always call it. But that right there is a fact. Like I said, believing something that is not real, it can be detrimental, but like I said, it mostly irrelevant. And that's why I think it's important just to have conversations in this sense of, well, let's just toss all that aside, be agnostic, non-denominational in all ways, and just talk about the possibilities. And that, to me, is, well, how we have a conversation. But yeah, you're spot on. You're spot on with a lot of this. You're picking up what I'm putting down, my friend.
Yeah, and that's the way to keep an open mind. And an open mind's a good thing. And I can't remember who said it, but don't let your mind be so open that your brains fall out. But what we were just talking about was, it reminds me of a quote I put in my book that I mentioned last night. But anyways, and it's Soren Kierkegaard, the philosopher. And Kierkegaard said, there's two ways to be fooled. And the first one is to believe something that is not true. And the second way is to refuse to believe something that is true.
Yeah, and both don't track. Both cause problems, don't they?
Right. So both lead to confusion. And so, and beliefs can be confusing because you don't know whether they're tracking with truth and reality or they're not tracking with it, but you're convinced it does in your mind, and this comes from ego. And you mentioned how your ego didn't like the idea of the simulation last night, but so your ego likes to think it's right. It wants to think it's right. It has to think it's right. And the reason it does, I think, is because that's the part of the brain that goes back to like caveman days, that it needs to figure out, if I climb up that hill and go over the next valley to find deer and fish, there better be deer and fish there, or I'm going to starve to death. It's survival reasons. So there's a lot of decision-making and actions and things that we don't know. We make our best assessments of, and then maybe we kind of have to do a leap of faith and belief. And so I think that comes from sort of our caveman brain, which is really from the ego level, that says, I want to be right. The ego always wants to be right. And that's why the ego believes that everything it believes is right and true.
Correct. And you know what I think? I think it's just part of like a survival mechanism in terms of you can't go around sort of disbelieving your own reality, because then what are you? So I think the ego is sort of that in my opinion, sort of a blocker of, you have to believe that the next step you take, you're not going to fall into a portal and end up in Tartarus, right? So like the next step you take, you have to be confident that the reality of the ground is still there. And so you have to assume you're right. And I think the ego is necessary in that regard. Otherwise, well, things would be a huge mess. And it would be a lot more like the Marvel Cinematic Universe than actual reality if that stuff like that was happening, right?
Right. And I totally agree with you, and I'm tracking exactly what you're saying. And there's an analogy I came up with that what you're saying is a little different or adding some nuance to what I was saying, but I think it's also true. So it's different levels of how you apply what I was saying the understanding is. So on a pragmatic level, the example is nobody would ever fly on an airplane except if they employed belief and believing. Because if you didn't believe that airplane was going to depart from that airport, was going to be there and was going to take you to the place, then you would never get in your car and drive to the airport. Okay, so you have to take like a little leap of faith. Yeah, there's going to be a plane there. I can't see the airport. The plane could be delayed. My flight could be canceled. But I got to believe it for like practical reasons. So, the believing has very practical reasons. Like I was saying, caveman days, survival, getting the deer, getting on the airplane. You got to believe it. It's functional. It's helpful. However, that's one particular realm of applying and using the faculty of belief. There's other realms where belief maybe doesn't suit you so well. Like, for example, you are believing that, Atlantis is, come up out of the ocean off of Catalina, or there's, whatever, some fantastic belief that somebody's espousing that you latch onto, or you end up in a cult, or you're in Jonestown, or, etc., where you just believe too dang much about stuff you didn't need to believe about, and stuff you couldn't know and wasn't pragmatic. And then belief becomes a very malevolent or non-productive thing in our lives and to our minds and to other people. You could take religion, for example, which a lot of people say resulted in a lot of the wars and killing and murders, and that went back to belief. But it was the type of belief I'm talking about that maybe wasn't a necessary type of thing you needed to believe in, right? Like getting on the airplane or getting the deer.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. And so let's bring this all the way back around. We got callers behind you we got to get to as well. But so regarding underground monsters, what is your belief on underground monsters? Do you think this is just a fictional nonsense, or do you think maybe there's something that tracks here?
Well, like I said, I didn't catch the first part of the program. There's some things I heard about, like, maybe, and this is a long time ago, about reptilians and things like that live in the caves or the inner earth or things like that. And I think that, there's definitely room to keep an open mind for that sort of stuff. I don't think that humans are the only type of intelligent life forms. And there does seem to be a lot of cryptids and monster type things going on, and even it seems more like recently that there's some people that think that perhaps there's something like interdimensional portals where these things are coming through or manifesting, or maybe we're creating them, that type of thing. So I think there's room for an open mind on that, for sure.
Fantastic. Real quick, the quote you said there, make sure you keep an open mind, but not so open that your mind falls out, is attributed to Art Bell. But somebody said it before him as well. I can't remember who. But definitely.
You remember last night I told you I'd listened to Art Bell, start 30 years ago. So,
correct. Yep.
That's probably where I got it from.
There it is. Real quick, so we got to go. Like I said, can you please tell us about your book real fast? And if you can, send me a link to that, and I'll put it in the chat and everything for everybody. But tell us about your book real quick. I appreciate you calling in. Thanks for listening. You're the best, bro.
Yeah, okay, so the book's available on Amazon. The title of the book is Escape the Matrix and Explore Reality, A Guide to Radical Transformation. And I had the thought today, after I was on last night, and you let me plug your book, I would love to give you and all your listeners a free copy of my book. I can't do that right now as we speak, but the next time I call in, I've got a site that it's available on, Smashwords, that I can create coupons and give it away to you and your listeners for free. So I would love to do that.
That is fantastic.
And all the people that enjoy your show.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Go ahead.
So the next time we visit, I'll get that set up, and the next time we visit, I'll give you and your listeners a coupon code to where they can get on Smashwords and get my book for free.
Fantastic. I appreciate it. Now, look, before you go, we have to correct something. I'm going to call you Matt. And this is the problem here, because we actually have a Mike in Colorado that calls into the show. So I don't want two Mikes from Colorado just to be cute. And that's why I called you that last night. So sorry, we're going to call, we're not being cheeky. We're not being cute. Matt from Colorado, I appreciate the phone call. You're the best. Look forward to speaking with you in the future. Have a fantastic night. Thanks for listening. Thanks for calling.
Okay, thanks.
Have a great one. There you go. Matt's gonna provide free copies of his book to all. And there you go. Hey, making friends on a nightly basis. Looking forward to that. I'm asking because I wanted to check it out, but he's like, let's give you free copies and for you and everybody listening. So appreciate that. So there you go. Something to look forward to for next time he calls. Look, this is what it's about. It's about getting together and talking about things. And I did it was a tangent on the show. It's sort of that idea of belief, but it is important here because we're talking about monsters. We're talking about monsters that live underground. Right? We're talking about time travelers. We're talking about, prophecies and predictions. So, right, regarding all those things and the universe the way it is, like I was saying, and like Matt was saying, it doesn't matter what you believe. The things are what they are, right? And so there are reasons for that, the ego, and it's all fascinating as hell to me. But I think, like I said, it's part of drinking the maybe juice and getting together and talking. I see you there, Kelly. Hang tight. I didn't want to cut you short, so hang tight till the next segment, and we'll get you on as soon, and we'll give you as long as you need, okay? But we're just doing our thing. We're talking about underground monsters, millions missing this summer. This is, of course, is for me. You got it, a TikTok time traveler. TikTok, I hate to say it, punch myself in the face, a TikTok time traveler. And you know what I think about TikTok time travelers in general, but if they're real, well, then I'm the moron, right? So let's consider the possibility. As I say, conspiracy, speculation, theory, but it goes a little something like this, right? Just real fast. July 14th is predicted the Great Split, America's biggest earthquake. A huge fissure will open up, a huge chasm in America itself. And then August 9th, over 2 million people around the world will mysteriously disappear. And then October 3rd, creatures known as stalkers will appear around the globe. And there you go. There's your TikTok predictions from the time traveler, as it were. But what do you think? What is your thought on this? Does this make any sense or otherwise? Love to hear your thoughts. 702-957-1037. That's 702-957-1037. And like I said, belief's a funny thing. It's an interesting thing to kind of interject into this, but it is fun. It is fits. And what are your thoughts? Underground monsters, millions missing, TikTok time travelers. 702-957-1037. That's 702-957-1037. This is Troubled Minds. I'm Michael Strange. Don't go anywhere. More of all this and your phone calls and Kelly in Colorado when we return. Be right back. Welcome back to Troubled Minds. I'm your host, Michael Strange, and we are streaming on Rockfin, YouTube, DLive, and Twitter, and we are broadcasting live on The Fringe FM. Tonight, we're taking your phone calls. As you guessed it, we're discussing Underground monsters, millions missing this summer, TikTok time travelers, and eerie predictions. What do you believe about this? Is it all horse pucky? And I'm leaning that way myself. But again, the funny thing about belief is the universe will do what it wants to do, like I said. It doesn't give a damn about what we believe, but I still want to hear what you believe. 702-957-1037. That's 702-957-1037. We'll put you on the show. It's as easy as that. One thing real quick, the Fringe FM needs your help. Like I said, it's free for everybody 24 hours a day. Great programming happening over there. Digital radio. Need a little bit of help. Fringe.fm/donations if you could spare a little bit. Appreciate that so much. Let's go to Kelly in Colorado. What's up, brother? Welcome to Troubled Minds. Thanks for being patient. Are you there? Test 1, 2.
Yeah, hello. Can you hear me?
Loud and clear, bro. You sound fantastic. How's everything going with you?
Good, man. Just chilling out, and I want to add some stuff to the show, you know?
Sure, of course. Yeah, you know where to find us. You're in the right place. What about TikTok time travelers? What about underground monsters and all the rest of this? So what are your thoughts?
TikTok time travelers. Let's go with that first.
Sure.
I don't know, man. Like, 'cause some of these guys that you know come out and say they're time travelers. I mean, I'm not saying that they're not. I mean, anything could, you know, is a possibility. But and let's say they did. You know, the thing about it is you know, they could have went and seen a different reality. You know, there's you know, if it's like the string theory, there's millions of different, you know, directions we could go. So who knows what they're seeing? You know what I mean? Like I said, it could be a different reality from what's actually going to happen with this reality. You know, so not putting past them or anything like that, because you know we've had stuff like that. You know, that's been documented, like, for instance, Al Billick, you know, he was part of that, you know, in, like, the Montauk Project. Some of those, you know, some of that stuff, though, is pretty interesting. Some of the stuff he talked about, I know people get a chance to check him out. But, yeah, I mean, people have been talking about doing time traveling, you know, all the time. Or, like, people just pop up out of nowhere, you know, like I think it was in New York or Chicago. He got hit in the middle of the road. He popped up out of nowhere, got hit by a car. He looked like he was just, you know, like but when in his clothes, his style of clothes, the things they found in his pockets, it would seem to be like he came from like the horse and buggy time, you know. That's why he was looking like he was just walking around kind of confused. There's the story about that guy. And as for like, underground, let's say underground creatures or something, you know, you have the stories of like, you know, those underground bases under New Mexico, right, under the Jicarilla Indian Reservation. That's a Apache reservation up in northern New Mexico. And then you have there was that guy that claimed that I don't know if you remember this story. He claims that there was a underground alien base under LA, and this was like in I think 20s or 30s, and they were digging. They never did find any like cave even like a cave system or anything like that. But you know, they dug a few different times. Nothing really come up about that. You know, but you have all those weird ones in Europe. You know, even some of them are like got like bones in them, you know, the whole walls and everything else are made in bones. And then you also have Darren Kuyu, which seems to be people like running for something, you know, and they had those big round rocks that could lock it. And the only way you can unlock it is from the inside. And it was Darren Kuyu and then, you know, in northern Turkey up there. So I don't know, man, you got some weird stuff that could, you know, kind of concludes that some stuff that's may have happened on the earth, we don't know. You know, some people say it was a deluge, but even if you had water, I don't know, the water would seep through something like that. It was like they were hiding from something. You know,
You're right. Go ahead.
I'm just gonna say that, you know, I kind of like, you know, you got deep stuff too. Like here in the United States, they got like those deep salt mines. You know, like maybe in Missouri, I think, or Michigan, those big old cold storage things for the government. They're like deep underground, you know. If you can go on YouTube and check that out, they got semi drivers that, you know, drive down in through there. So who knows? Even like with the Al Billick, though, his story, in his story, that he claimed that like the United States had the earthquake that was like in the Mississippi area. Yes, California dropped off, but there's a fault line that runs up through the Mississippi. It's supposed to actually widen it, kind of like split the United States in half, all the way down to the Gulf Coast. So that there's that one. There's all kinds of them, but I mean, what's interesting to me, like even the Great Wall of China, I know that was, there's purpose for that. Some people say, but who knows, man? Some of those parts of those walls are pretty huge. I don't know what they're fighting or trying to keep back, but that it's a massive. Who knows what's going to be crawling if something opens, a crack opens up, and something crawls out of the ground. You never know. But
then, like I said, it doesn't matter what the hell you believe. When that happens, we all believe, right? Things change quick.
Yeah. There's also, I don't really know if it's here on Earth. I wouldn't say. I mean, because you have different stories though, like the ancients or like the native Indians, like in South America, they believe that there was some ant people that helped them. I think actually that was in the Hopis, right? They said they call them the ant people that helped them out, right? And they took them underground or something like that. But what's interesting to me, I don't know if it's on the ground. Maybe it's a portal or something, a crack that opens up in the sky. You know what I mean? Because you got all these weird sightings that's happening. It looks like portals that open up, or like that big swirl that was over in Norway. They first tried to say that was a rocket launch, but I disagree, because in the middle of it, like, it stops, and then next it opens up like a black sky, darker than the night skies that's showing, like like deep space, and it just opens up. I think they actually had another something like that weird too. I had a video on it. I was trying to find that one, but they had one in Taiwan. It was kind of like the same thing, or the thing that's just now that happened over China. Those red look like it wasn't a UFO, man.
You're cutting out, bro. Your internet's freaking out.
What about now? Can you hear me?
A little better. Go ahead. Let's
okay.
test.
Yeah. Let's see. Or like someone kind of mentioned earlier, it was like those trumpets, or those weird moans or booms in the sky. You never know. That could be something comes out of the sky. Like a portal or something. There's some pretty strange stuff that's been happening. You never know.
Yeah, like I said, and the universe is going to do what the universe does regardless of what we believe. So it is interesting to consider the possibilities, and that's what we do here anyway. Like, I'm not professing any of this is real. It's interesting, too. There are some parallels. Again, the Morlocks from the Time Machine, things like this, of like a subterranean, underground sort of, let's say, what would you call them? Like that would not be an extraterrestrial. That would be a, well, I forgot the term. But something that's been here a long time. Like I was talking about Bigfoot a little while ago, right? Where would Bigfoot go? We see it from time to time. Bigfoot probably, if Bigfoot is real, probably just lives underground, right? Like has a cave system or something to that effect. And that's why, right? Like you can't just go, do like a thermal image of a forest and find a Bigfoot super easily, because, right, they're probably underground most of the time, right? And kind of come out for food or whatnot. So, I mean, there's some things to suggest, like you said, Darren QU and some other really interesting spots. And I think you mentioned New Mexico there. What about, remember the Phil Schneider story about the deep underground bases and Dulce, New Mexico, and the little people, the gnomes running around there. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff out there, dude. So yeah, why not? Why not, right? Hey, why not? If we're not talking about it, who the hell's talking about it? But I mean, I'm with you on the TikTok time travelers. It's like, yeah, okay, whatever. But that's not our purview. We're not trying to like debunk this stuff. Other people do that, and it's fine. But I think us drinking the maybe juice is what this is all about. What else you got for us, my man? Great stuff as always.
I don't know. Like, have you seen that one guy that was like supposed to be stuck in time? He's always posting stuff like on TikTok or something, and he's like, there's nobody around, So people like telling him what to do, like steal a car, like a Ferrari. So he goes to a place that's got Ferraris, he jumps in it, takes off down the next town, They tell them to go to like hospitals and police departments, and there's still nobody there, which is pretty interesting. It was just weird. I don't know. That's the only strange one that with all those little TikTok guys. But that was one of the strange ones for me. But yeah, but another thing, it just kind of was
Internet's freaking.
Sorry about that.
That's good.
What about now?
Perfect. Whatever magic you do works. It's good now.
Okay, yeah, but there's a really strange. I don't know if they're through science anyway. They're claiming there's a. I don't know if you ever seen this story, but there was a story they ran out that they're saying there's like two big masses that are like deep in the ground, in like the center of the earth, and they're even claiming that it's moving around. They don't know what it is. The claim is, or they could have been like a chunk of another planet. I don't know, man. But whatever there is, I don't know just saying, just kind of throwing it out there. I don't know if you heard about it, but yeah, it's been running around some of the things out there, some of the other medias and stuff. But I don't know. They're saying there's something, I guess they've been scanning Earth. And there's just something they thought it was the core, but it was started moving around, two different, and it split, so it's in two chunks, but it's moving around. So that's pretty interesting. I don't know what that could be, just throwing that out there. But one more thing before I get off here.
Sure.
Just this is what we do, isn't that what the whole form of Gnostics was bringing all kinds of knowledge and everybody, showing up and adding their things. It was never believing all in one thing, but believing in many things, taking everything apart from that, and trying to piece all this knowledge together. That's the whole point,
Mm-hmm.
to know everything, but to leave out like that, like Mike was saying, or Mike was saying that he was like, you got to leave the ego out. That's the main thing. So, yeah, I like that call. It seems like, another thing was, it seems that we're a little strange up here in Colorado, or I should say troubled minds here in Colorado. There's 3 of us now.
Yeah, there's probably more than that too. Like that, probably a silent contingent of troubled minds in Colorado for sure. Yeah, good stuff, Kelly. You're the best, bro. You gonna hang out? You're welcome to stay right there, or dip back in later. It's up to you, bro. You know you're welcome as long as you want to be here.
Yeah, I'll just hang out here.
Okay, catch you in a minute here. So, okay, that's Kelly in Colorado, good friend of mine, good friend of the show. As far as my recollection goes, Kelly was the very first person to ever call into Troubled Minds years ago. Kelly's been with us for years, just talking about stuff, just sharing ideas, like we said about reality and about professing belief and all the rest of this stuff. Sometimes it doesn't matter. Like, it just doesn't matter what you believe, right? In terms of the universal scales, it's going to do what it's going to do, and that's that. So we let you like to talk about the possibilities. Good night to Fred in Shadows of the Moon. Thanks for hanging out with us, guys. All right, look, now I told you there's going to be possibly some basis for this. All right, we started with TikTok time travelers. I promised you. Check this out. Underground monsters, millions missing this summer, coming from, let's say, that's right, the underground. Look at this. You'll never believe this. This one goes out to APOC, who actually shared this on Twitter. I found this on her. She's very prolific in sharing some pretty amazing stuff on Twitter. But check this out. This is nuts. This is from ancientorigins.com, or .net, sorry, ancient-origins.net. Yeah, wouldn't you know it? A lost primeval world has been found in a giant South China sinkhole. Yeah. Chinese explorers have discovered a lost world in an exceptionally deep and large sinkhole in South China. And in this ancient subterranean space, they expect to find flora and fauna unknown to science. Uh-oh. A cenote is a natural pit. Is cenote, C-E-N-O-T-E, I don't know how to say it, or sinkhole caused by bedrock collapsing in karst terrain that exposes groundwater channels. When we read the word cenote, it's normally followed up with a story about Aztec or Maya bodies and artifacts. That's because, okay, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, let's, here we go. Let's see, blah, 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 exploring the worlds. Okay, so this goes on to a whole bunch of other things, but it's interesting to note, this is again from May 19th. This is brand spanking new, right? A lost primeval world has been found in a giant South China sinkhole, and they expect to find flora and fauna unknown to science, right? Flora and fauna unknown to... You know what that means? Well, I don't know. Does that mean what we've been talking about? Underground monsters and millions missing this summer? It seems like, right, like when you're looking at news cycles, I found this one late, like I was kind of cruising through my links, because I collect everything that's interesting, right? And I put it kind of in this bank, this like data bank or whatever, right? This just, I actually have my own private channel on Discord. I just put everything there. And when I go back and I find something interesting, I see if there's anything else related. And that's why I make these shows. It's not you know, some you know, like mad scientist in a lab sort of thing. It's just, I'm like, oh, that kind of correlates to that. And that sort of works with that. And holy smokes, suddenly we have TikTok time travelers, underground monsters, right? Where we started, some bizarre prophecies in an earthquake. But now suddenly we've got this, yeah, you guessed it, a lost primeval world has been found in a giant South China sinkhole, and they expect to find, you got it, flora and fauna unknown to science. That would be animals and plants unknown to science. All right, now you want to get even more weird, right? I promised you more, right? Check this out. It gets even more weird, and this is that's right. Big think this week, May 13th. Check this out. Was there an intelligent civilization before humans existed? And they're not talking about like people before humans. They're talking about some sort of monster, some sort of intelligent dinosaur millions of years ago, right? I mean, this gets wild. All within a week of each other, we have all these things, right? And it's like, wait, what? And this is what I'm saying when you talk about, again, shout out to Night Stalker and the synchro mysticism and that bit. It's like, wait, is this really what's going on here? Because it seems like, we'll talk about this as we go. You guys know we do a third hour of Troubled Minds off the radio. But look, we'll get to this. But okay, like you see what I'm saying? This tracks and it gets a little scary. First, we got the TikTok time travelers. They warn, a time traveler warns new creatures will emerge when ground opens and millions vanish. All right, there we go. Then we got this. We got a lost primeval world has been found in a giant South China sinkhole. They expect to find flora and fauna unknown to science. Then we have this. That's right, from Big Think, May 13th. Was there an intelligent civilization before humans existed? And they're talking about, what, like the Sleestack from Land of the Lost. You guys remember that show? Like, I'm going to just say WTF is going on around here. Seems suspicious. Got a few minutes left if you want to squeak in. 702-957-1037. Let's go to Joseph in Iowa. What's up, brother? Welcome to Troubled Minds. How are you tonight?
Hey, I'm all right. So I was thinking, like, I called in, I think about like AI, like what if there's like art, we're trying to make like a nano particle that can like reproduce and all this stuff. Maybe that's what we unfreeze or like is like, or undig, or at least if it's in China, that automatically like raises an alarm to me that they're just going to like say they found it, but like low key, they just like reproduced it or something.
Right. So, check this out. Let's go full conspiratorial here. Let's say that the sinkhole they found in China is not actually a natural sinkhole, but it's a man-made sinkhole that they created that actually connects to their underground laboratory where they've been making man-bear pigs, and they're going to release them into the wild and say that it was a natural thing. How about that? You want to go full conspiratorial? How about that, my friend?
That's, I mean, why not? They recreated Disney World.
Why not?
So
why not?
Well, yeah.
Yeah. I was a little bit shocked at that.
I was also thinking.
Go ahead.
What was that?
No, go ahead.
I was also thinking, because you're talking about belief a lot. So belief, I figured out like a long time ago, it's really strong. Like I put in the chat, I was given a bottle. It was like a 120-year-old bottle. And the person who gave it to me really believed that something in it was like powerful, like it was almost like multiple things. And this bottle was just creepy, dude. It has, I counted like 12 different like faces, like clearly faces. Like I could send it in Discord. Like they're like, it's a medical bottle that was found in the river, but like just just the way you like if you start talking about stuff like that, like it's very powerful. And that could be something that we conjure up, like maybe something underground in our mind we're digging up. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. That's why we get together and talk about this stuff. Who knows, man? Who knows? Like again, we got portals underground. We got Gartha. We got again. I love the idea that you're again maybe a Chinese something or other going on over there. Some shenanigans with that. What if they release like I don't know, flying man bear pigs? How about that? Right? I mean, like who knows? This starts to get super weird, right? Because we're not talking about just mythology anymore. We're talking about science. We're talking about sort of hybrids and just all the weird stuff we always talk about. It kind of all comes together at some point, which to me is like sweet. Sweet. Which means we don't know what's next, right? In those terms, we just don't know what's coming. When it comes, we'll just be like, yeah, that tracks. That seems to be fine. This is fine. We got like a minute left, bro. What else you got?
Yeah, basically that's all I really was thinking. Like maybe they find something that built like it would be like a creature, right? Like if you released it, it would start to rebuild like not like us and like what we know, but something else. Like, but maybe it's machine to begin with, and what we're trying to create. Like Transcendence, they had like a nano swarm and stuff that could like repair physical things. Maybe this thing just takes off and just starts makes a whole new country on Antarctica, and we're like, what?
I'm with you, man. I want to be the guy that has like the, I'm on the air when like something crazy happens and I'm the guy that's like, what? And they play the sound clip. they're like, Michael Strange was live on air and the man bear pigs flew out of the cave in China and this was his reaction. What? You're the best, Joseph. We're out of time, bro. Joseph here has a YouTube channel called IO Walks. If you want to hang tight, we'll get back to you in the third hour. If you want to sit tight or you got more, you tell me.
If you got other calls or something, I mean, I do have. That's really all. That ghost bottle and the belief. I mean, I could post it in Discord and stuff. The belief is really strong. Like with like stuff like that, physical stuff. I don't know.
Gotcha. Okay. Appreciate it. Joseph here has a YouTube channel called IO Walks. Links in the description down below. Check it out. You're the best, Joseph. Thanks for the phone call. Always a pleasure. Have a great night. Simple as that. 702-957-1037. If we would continue, and it's weird. It's complicated. Things are complicated. Well, if you're listening to us on the Fringe FM, stay tuned for Joe Roop Lighting the Void. And then, of course, The Secret Teachings with Ryan Gable. If you're listening to us on any other platform, including the podcast feed, stay tuned for a third hour of Troubled Minds. And as you know, right, I don't have the answers here. This is not about the answer show. So many people are trying to tell you what the answers are. It's exhausting. Let's just free our mind from the shackles of all the horse crap they try and feed us and just consider, well, maybe the man bear pigs will be released from a pit in China. The flying man bear pigs. And as we finish, it goes exactly like this. The bad news is we're done. The good news is, God willing, we got tomorrow. And of course, be sure, be strong, be true. Thank you for listening. From our troubled minds to yours, have a great night. All right, we're off the Fringe. Streaming on Rockfin, YouTube, DLive, and Twitter. Still taking your phone calls. What do you think? What's going on with this? This is not the answer show. This is not one of those spaces where we get together and, fling poo at each other and say,
No, you're wrong. No, you're wrong. You're a Nazi. You're a pedophile.
We don't do any of that shit. Come on, leave that to the mainstream garbage where, you know what? They think that you can not have a conversation without getting into a fight, dehumanizing each other, and then, of course, causing, let's say, or calling for people to attack you because of the way you think or the way you believe, right? Like it's a despicable thing, but we're not like that. We're definitely not like that. We're still talking about this. We got a third hour Troubled Minds is for you. We literally always did this because sometimes the radio breaks are weird. I got to cut people off, stuff like that, right? Third hour is completely commercial free, and we just we talk. We get together and talk. What do you believe regarding, let's see, underground monsters? What about TikTok time travelers? What about all the rest of this stuff? I don't know. I don't have those answers, but I do think it's fun to consider. I do think it's fun to talk about and fun to think about. So 702-957-1037. That's 702-957-1037. And we're going to take a 2-minute break. 2-minute break. More Troubled Minds on the way. Don't go anywhere. Looking to hear from you. And what do you know regarding TikTok time travelers, monsters underground, and all the rest of this? Be right back. Don't go anywhere. More Troubled Minds on the way. 2-minute break. Okay, all right. Shall we? How's everybody doing tonight? Hope everybody's okay. Happy Thursday. Remember, Thursday's one day before Friday, and this is Troubled Minds Friday. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to hang out and just talk amongst our friends about crazy stuff. Underground monsters, millions missing this summer. TikTok time travelers. What about Agartha? What about these, let's say this article. Yeah, wouldn't you believe it? Wouldn't you know it? A lost primeval world has been found in a giant South China sinkhole. And what do they expect to find? You got it. Flora and fauna unknown to science. You think Bigfoot lives there? What about Yeti? What about the abominable snowman? What about the chupacabras? What about things we haven't, let's say, seen, I don't know, in thousands of years? You see, the plot thickens. Things start to get, well, okay, maybe this isn't as ridiculous as it seems at face value, right? Again, I hate predictions. I hate people trying to rob hope from people. That's the thing. That's the thing about me. Like, you guys know me. I do not like predictions for that reason, because I think, one of the greatest superpowers of humanity is the ability to hope, the ability to realize that, because today may have been the shittiest day ever. It means that, hope suggests tomorrow will be better. And not just incrementally, probably very much better, right? It's like one of those things that kind of keeps you going. It's one of those things that keeps you thinking and all the rest of that. So we're still taking your phone calls, considering you got it, all the things regarding underground monsters, TikTok time travelers. What about this sinkhole in China? What about, we'll get to this as well from Big Think, was there an intelligent civilization before humans existed? We'll get to Slee Stacks and the Land of the Lost and all kinds of other shit, because why not? We are off the radio now, so if you got a potty mouth and can't stop yourself from cursing, now is your time. 702-957-1037. That's 702-957-1037. Click the Discord link at Troubled Minds. We'll put you on the show. Easy as that. Let's get to this. Kelly, anything else while you're there? I know you're still there, but if you're just chilling, that's cool. I'll get into this article of Big Think and intelligent dinosaurs from back in the day.
Yeah, I seen that thing. I ran across that same story about that cave in China. There was actually one that I believe that was even happening in South America or Mexico, the same kind of cave. What it was is like there's like either a cave system that just collapses and everything that was on the top at the time that it fell down. That's where they're hoping to find different flora and fauna. But there was the one in, I think, in the one in South America, I believe, or Mexico, one of the ones. But it was, it fell pretty deep in underground too. But with all that flora and fauna down there, it would even created its own like weather pattern. It was weird. They had pictures of it with it looked like clouds and stuff. It started raining. I mean, it even fed itself. They found some weird kind of, and this one they found some like it was I don't know, kind of like weird, different type of insects. But yeah, man, you never know because like there's some weird videos out there from YouTube where like these, they're taking these robots to check out some sewer systems, and he's got these weird. I don't know if you've seen them, but I don't know, man. These creatures are weird. They have long tails. I don't know if they would call them reptilians because there would be smaller, shorter. Because obviously that little robot is smaller. To get in some of those smaller and older, I would say, sewer systems that they was going down in there. But yeah, man, there's some weird shit that's down there. You never know. But if it's coming, I just want to let you know if anything's coming weird out like that, like a slee slack or a man,
the flying man bear pigs, they're coming,
Yeah.
Kelly. They're coming.
I'm shooting the shit out of them.
Hey, sometimes hashtag 2A. Hey, if they take all our guns when the flying man bear pigs come, we can't fight back. Maybe that's the agenda. Oh boy. Now we did it, Kelly. Yeah, it's crazy though, right? It is crazy to consider that there are places in this world. We think with the satellites and Google Maps and all this shit. We're like, oh, we're so smart. We know about all the things. But then you're like, oh, go down to the Mariana Trench and we don't know shit about that, right? It's like, what kind of monsters are down there? Maybe that's where Cthulhu actually is, right? I mean, why not?
I don't know. Like, there's even more than that. Remember that one time we did that show a long time ago? It was like, I think you were after what's his name left. Who you started out with? What's his name again? God, I can't think of his name right now. And then it's so terrible of me too.
I'm with you with names. You mean the caller tonight?
Oh, when you were starting the show, you and Mike and Frank. Yeah, bro. It was like after Frank left, I believe. We did a show one time, and I was about like all those weird different skulls that was found in like Russia. I mean, I still have all those, but again, those are in storage. But it was just different skulls. I mean, what they have found on this planet, which is weird, man, because they've got like, and they did scientifical. I mean, they have all the things on that too. They take X-rays and they took CAT scans of these things, and you can tell the different, the thickness of the skulls and some of this, the density of the bone itself. It's not any kind of animal that they've ever seen. It's not, because it can't be a fossil. It's a regular bone, but man, and they're smaller, so these creatures would have to be, I don't know, I would say about no more than 3 feet tall, but some of them got like these giant horns. Look like it could be out of a, I don't know, man. I'd have to re-find those and post those again too. But we don't even know. Like everybody thinks that it's all fairy tales, about fairies or even like those weird. What is it? They trolls or something, or elves over in some of those northern countries up there. What was it? Man, I can't remember, but they won't even move stones because they say those things live inside the stones. And one time they had to fix a road, and because kids mostly talk with them, because the child's mind is not so correct. But I guess they see him, and they had to tell him that they had to move this guy's house, which is one of the blocks. They had to do the construction, and then they just replaced it back. And the whole country believes in that. They have like the town, the country, everything. It's weird, man. I don't know, man. You can never say that everything, right? It's just like that one that house they found that little secret door, and inside there they had this guy. I guess he was a collector of weird items, or he was like anthropologist or something. But he had these those weird creatures, they look like, like an elf with wings and shit, or horns. He had like collections from around the world, but they were all small, weird, just little creatures, some of them with hair, some of them with scales. It was weird, man. I don't know if you ever seen that one too, but yeah, again, you just never know what's on this planet. You know, there's shit. Even now, I ran across a story that think that there's a smaller type human still running around on the Philippines.
Is that a similar meaning that there's some kind of a sinkhole and critters down there and shit?
No, not about so much about that, but like in a cave system that they believe that, you know, these things are still running around, you know, because you can't see them. Again, you know, there was this one video I seen. These guys were like, they're hauling ass. You know, they obviously live in it's in a jungle-ish area, right? But they're hauling ass on the motorbikes through that place because it was a trail that was running there. And next, you know, the guy that was on the bike is filming, and there's this, I don't know, man, this little weird creature, dude. It's a little man, but the thing was only like 2 feet tall, and he's running from him through the on the track at first, and the guy flipped out, you know, because it ran into the higher bushes, and everybody just stopped. There was like 3 of them, you know, 3 guys on motorbikes, and they, you know, that shit. I don't know if it's real, but man, some of that stuff is because they, you know, they're hauling ass. You can't really say that, you know, that was pretty good if it was fake, you know.
Hey man, that's what it's about, right? If you're gonna fake something, at least make that shit real so we talk about it. Make it real enough so we talk about it. I mean, a lot of that shit I see, I'm like, nah, get that shit out of here. Hey, but once in a while, right? They do it well enough that makes you think, and that's what it's all about. It's all good. I don't know, man. What about this other stuff regarding let's say not just these sinkholes, but what about this sort of dinosaur civilization from the past? Again, with the Sleestaks and whatnot. Like this seems to become a super weird thing. Just real quick, for you guys who don't know what a Sleestak is, right? This is from Big Think. We're talking about this now. Was there an intelligent civilization before humans existed? Talking about dinosaurs, and it's fascinating. They go through here and talk about some of this. We'll get to that in just a sec. But what about the idea of a Sleestak? Now, this starts to get weird. From Land of the Lost, it's an old TV show from the 70s. The Sleestak are an extra-dimensional race of reptilian, bipedal, humanoid species native to the Land of the Lost. They appeared in all 3 seasons of Land of the Lost, as well as in variant forms in 2 reboots. Here you go. You want some whack shit, Kelly? The Sleestak are an extra-dimensional reptilian, bipedal, humanoid species indigenous to the Land of the Lost. But if they're extra-dimensional, how are they indigenous is what I want to know. It continues. They have a thin but wide-set mouths, a large round black eyes which are averse to light, covered mostly in green scales with yellow thoraxes. They have claws on their feet and on their hands, which can function as pincers. The Sleestak also have a single horn protruding backward from the top of their heads. They make a pronounced hissing sound produced by their breathing with some possible congestion condition. This is probably due to the wide-set mouth and flat nostrils. They can, however, temporarily suppress their telltale hissing to set up an ambush, for instance. And that's from, this is an old school. This is literally old school from the 70s. I saw these reruns when I was a kid. I'm not quite old enough to have seen like the first run of this, but I saw some of these reruns when I was young, and I was like, wow, this shit is crazy, right? It was like the first dinosaurs on screen. This was like Jurassic Park before there was Jurassic Park, right? You remember Land of the Lost, Kelly?
Oh yeah, man. I remember watching them way back in the day. Yeah, I remember that show. But it was, you know, now that I look about it, and you know, and all through the research now with everybody, you know, that the whole reptilian type race, it's weird that it's exactly, you know, like how they're portraying it, you know, and it could be, you know, like a breakaway. I don't know, like from, you know, humans, they're saying, you know, like evolution, you know, per se. And they're saying that, you know, not only that type of, you know, a creature like that, not only from, like, they would say that if it was, you know, where it come from an ape to a caveman or whatever, but they were saying that it could be from a reptilian side as well. That, you know, that these, you know, people would be mostly in caves. They would have to adapt, you know, their eyes and everything else. You know, it's just like, and then that adaptation that, you know, they would need to be running around, or even people like, you know, it's where you get like the mermaids too, where like, you know, these people went from more of like, you know, they were swimming around, you know, that they started, you know, that's their feeding ground where they were at, you know, it was, you know, all the water, and after a while they could hold their breath. And there's even people around, you know, and even on the in some of these other countries, I can't even remember the it is. But they do deep sea diving, off of boats or even close to the ocean, to this, off of cliffs, and they go down deep, man, and they have to hold their breath. But they've been doing it so now, and they're even starting to get like wet feet and everything. So you never know, man. That could, the evolution can go different ways, and maybe that's how they're trying to, introduce the reptilian race or something like that, not from outer space, but like, extraterrestrial could just mean that it's just an extra different type of people. I mean, look at those elongated heads of those other people in Peru and stuff, Egypt. We talked about those ones as well. You find stuff that's just different, man. And you can't really say, even in giants, who knows? Like, again, everybody thinks of what normal is, but they don't even know. They're just, you got to get out, especially people that live, far, in the forest and stuff. You hear those ones, it could be Bigfoot or it could be, but these yells at whatever it was, man, that shit was, it could send chills down my spine on even just hearing it on the, on YouTube at night, sitting there, calling stuff, but to hear that shit out of your door, man, I don't know, that'd be scary as shit.
That'd be scary as shit, yeah, hell yeah. And remember, Sherry said that when the boogeyman comes, Kelly's the guy you call to kill the boogeyman. So Kelly's like, sometimes there's things gonna be scary as shit too. Hey, but sometimes you gotta step up to that challenge, don't you, Kelly? You gotta go get it. You're like, yeah, this is scary, but I mean, this is what we're here for, I guess. Let's go. 100%. So yeah, talking about Land of the Lost, we got Kelly here in Colorado. Your internet's chirping out a little bit, just to let you know. You're welcome to stay. Like I said, I'm gonna talk about this real quick. We'll go to the dinosaurs and the smart dinosaurs, and it's crazy how these rabbit holes kind of lead, right? When you're like, okay, you read this, you read the next thing, and it's like, hold on, this is all in the same news cycle. This is all like a week apart from each other. We're talking about TikTok time travelers predicting like a huge earthquake, a split in the earth, and then millions disappearing, 2 million people disappearing, not like being killed or anything, just vanishing, like missing 411 or something. And then we have on top of that, in the same prediction, then in October of this summer, late fall, when that starts to hit, these entities known as the stalkers, right, arriving. This is back to that. Here's the dates in case you guys want to put them on your calendar. July 14th, 2022, the Great Split, America's biggest earthquake. The huge chasm opens up, and it's nondescript on exactly where this happens. The second thing is August 9th, over 2 million people around the world will mysteriously disappear. And then October 3rd, creatures known as stalkers will appear around the globe. It almost sounds like an alien invasion, doesn't it? That's kind of what this sounds like. It sounds like we're being set up, Kelly. I demand a recount. This is bullshit.
I know, man. That's what I was kind of like alluding to earlier. It doesn't really sound for some of the stuff that you hear, or even stories too, or like even what these guys are supposed to be time travelers. They're bringing up stuff. You know what I mean? It kind of sounds like, and again, with all the stuff that's people are capturing in the sky. Not only UFOs, but like weird shit that looks like portals opening up, literally black portals, dark ones. I've seen light ones, even that red one over in China. Man, I don't know. It seems like a crack in or a wormhole, even like the one, like I said, the one over in Norway when that one opened up. I mean, who knows, man? Because I don't know, something is coming. Yeah, that's what I think. I have a weird feeling like that. There's, I tend to I tend to see myself as like, to have a certain. I have my feelings is I can reach them, and I'm real sensitive to some things. And I don't know, man. It just seems weird, like. Especially, you have the shit that's been going on for a while. That phenomenon with the trumpets in the sky. It's always in the sky. It's not really, you don't hear anything opening up in the ground, And just like Robert was saying earlier, that could happen with just an earthquake. California or the one that's through Mississippi. But I don't know, man. Creatures coming out. That just seems too it sounds like some Toth stuff, like Emerald Tablets type shit, man. And everything comes around, come creeping out, and it's not in a. Let's just put it this way: if they're not in a good attitude or good mood, man, they're gonna get we're fighting.
Yeah, right. Exactly. It's funny that that type of thing kind of often comes down to trivial things like such and such was in a bad mood that day, and then a war broke out. Right? Shit like that. It's just welcome to humanity. You're the best, bro. You were the best, Kelly. Thanks a lot. Welcome to stay right there. Always a pleasure. Let's do this. Let's go to this real quick. This is what I was talking about, and this is nuts, right? This is that other one. This is from the Big Think, right? Was there an intelligent civilization before humans existed, right? It kind of goes into this. It says, let's imagine for a moment some civilization went extinct millions of years before hominids even appeared. Although there isn't a precise definition of civilization, we usually associate it with a species capable of altering its physical environment on a regional or even planetary scale. How would we know millions of years later that they had been here? We've talked about this in the past, right? Well, the plot thickens. All evidence of their technological achievements is almost certain to have disappeared long ago, as persuasively shown by Alan Wiseman in his 2000 book, The World Without Us. Cities and large constructions like dams would quickly crumble and return to rubble. Farms and parks would become forest or jungle. And if this pre-human civilization had technology similar to ours, most of it would simply vanish. Even plastic trash eventually decays due to UV radiation and bacteria. Large structures fare no better. In a few million years, Mount Rushmore will look just like any other mountain. Very little remains of the Neanderthals, who lived just a few tens of thousands of years ago. Even very recent, very advanced human civilizations like those pre-Columbian America made most of their constructions from organic materials like wood. So that evidence is hard to come by after only a few hundred years. What if a more ancient civilization predating humans achieved some level of technology? Let's take dinosaurs, for example, because why not? Star Trek played with that idea in an episode more than 20 years ago, and that Star Trek episode is this. It's Distant Origin. This was an episode originally aired at April 30th, 1997. The plot is this. A superior race descended from Earth dinosaurs discovers Voyager, but living proof of the controversial distant origin theory goes against widespread doctrine. And there you go, if you guys like Star Trek Voyager. I didn't watch Voyager myself. I thought The Next Generation was about where I tapped out. It was good, but a little too much Star Trek's too much Star Trek for me. Here we go, dinosaur civilization. Here we go, blah, 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 blah. Okay, now this is where it gets crazy, right? At the time, when this individual that wrote this article from Big Think, the individual's name is, where is this? Oh, come on, guys. You gotta, if you want me to tell you, just, come on now. Dirk Schultz Makic. There you go. That's I butchered that, but there you go. That's how you're supposed to say the name, sort of, if you're a knucklehead like me. Check it out. At the time when this individual was in high school, scientists hadn't discovered that avian dinosaurs were the ancestors of birds. So perhaps we should reconsider their reputation as stupid. Birds have small brains because they need to fly, but many are quite intelligent, especially crows and parrots. How do they do it? The neurons in their brain are much more closely packed, and they have several times more neurons per gram of brain compared to mammals. Avian dinosaurs, like the theropods, may well have had the same brain structure. We don't know for sure because brains don't fossilize, and therefore may have been much smarter than we once thought. And there you go. That's a pretty compelling case for the Sleestak, right? The actual Sleestak. I mean, right? Like, holy shit. So what are your thoughts on this? We're still talking about this tonight. TikTok time travelers, monsters, earthquakes, shit, I don't know. I don't even know where to go anymore. 702-957-1037. Let's go back to Matt in Colorado, and then it looks like we got Jennifer in Missouri after that. What's up, Matt? Welcome to Troubled Minds. Go right ahead. What's up, my man? What is on your mind? Oops, we had the call dropped. All right, call back, Matt. We'll put you on. Let's go to Jennifer in Missouri. What's up? You're on fire in the chat tonight, my friend. Welcome to Troubled Minds. How are you tonight?
Hey. Yeah, so this is a really cool topic. And I don't know about the time traveler thing. You know, maybe, you know. But the whole idea of the Earth opening up and a secret species coming out and getting people or whatever, That's very intriguing. Okay, so if you think about, so below the surface of the Earth, and the whole idea of there possibly being a subterranean world, it seems possible. I mean, we can't think about the surface of the Earth and then the core. For one thing, the weird thing about the core of the Earth is that they're saying, and they're pretty sure, that it's like crystallized iron and that it's hotter than the surface of the sun. Right here, which just sounds impossible, but I guess that is so. And it's only 1,800 miles to the core from the surface. But if you think about let's just go with the idea that the Earth is the size they say and it's round, and let's just stick with that just because it's good enough, it'll work. Because even with that, because it doesn't even have to be outlandish, let's just say that the Earth is the size they say, which is like, I think it's like 2,600 miles, or something like that, from the top of the Earth to the bottom of the Earth, so to, that kind of thing. But anyway, it's 1,800 miles. Now, if you think about the entire surface of the entire Earth, and that all around, like if you were to walk the entire surface of the Earth somehow, like if it was a basketball and you were an ant, and that's not a good analogy, but you see what I'm saying. And then think about 18,000 miles till you reach the sun inside the Earth, basically, all around the entire thing. That's a lot of space to work with. I think like the deepest hole that you can't even dig like 5 feet into your own backyard before you have to call 811 or whatever, because for whatever reason you have to get a permit, of course. But it's just very strange that there is all that space where there could be anything, literally anything. And just to imagine, like the idea of the Earth being so hot at the center like that, unbelievable to imagine that it's as hot as the sun on the surface of the sun, right beneath our feet, and we're just walking around on it. Anyway, but all that space in between there's plenty of room. Because if you think about it in context of it being all around the entire surface of the Earth, there's plenty of room for a whole nother world. Plenty. And we found a lot of these places. Like the deepest hole they can dig, pretty much. I mean, I'm not sure exactly, but I know there's that one up at there's the one at the Arctic Circle that's like 40,000 feet deep or something, some such, that they dug the borehole up near the Arctic. Anyway, it seems likely. And then you think about this idea of these species. We know about and I kind of went on a rant about it last night, but about all the different types of hominids that have existed before. And that they were walking and ruling the Earth, so to speak. Like the Neanderthal, I mentioned that last night, was walking the Earth for 350,000 years, they think. Longer than we have. But they were like ruling the roost, so to speak. And then we just appeared. And then they disappeared. And you have that kind of thing going on with these species kind of running the roost. This idea of an ancient species that's some kind of reptilian, or it doesn't even have to be, or whatever you want to call it. You have the Naga, you have the Canari, a supernatural species of like half horse, half human, like the centaur basically. All of these cultures around the world talk about these supernatural races that were on the Earth at one point, and they have accounts of them as if they had dealings with them, and for some reason they no longer do. The weird thing, too, that I wanted to, I'm kind of all over the place with this, but if you think about the Mayan, and they were talking about the 5 suns, the sun that we're in is supposed to end with a earthquake. And it's ended before, through different causes, for different reasons. But they say there'll be a great earthquake, which is weird about this whole fissure thing, the whole opening up, maybe an earthquake. But if it was to also be that we somehow are no longer the dominant species and another intelligent species should arise, one of these maybe supernatural species that existed before, not necessarily these stalkers or anything, but should they come back up to the surface of the earth for some strange reason? Sorry. But if for some reason that should happen, or if that could, it could possibly happen. I mean, everything's possible. Not fact, not certain, but it's interesting that there are all, we do know about accepted species that existed that no longer apparently do, or they went somewhere else. But there's a lot of talk about all these different species going to subterranean worlds. And like I say, there's enough space with the Earth itself between the sun at the center of the Earth, basically, and the surface. If you take into account the radius of the Earth and everything, that there could be massive, and there have been discovered many massive chasms of worlds, that could be holding something. And there have been all kinds of creepy accounts, horrific accounts of all kinds of creatures that might live there. You have, there was one I was looking at, it was in Dixonville, Pennsylvania. Probably not true, but they were saying that there was these miners, and there had been a cave-in. It was 1944. And there had been a cave-in, and they went to go look for the miners, and they found them torn to pieces by some kind of creature, some kind of being. That the two people who came down, two of the men that went to go help these miners, encountered these beings down there. And then you have all of the accounts of the different things living in the caves of Iran and in Afghanistan, encountered by, the people who live there. It's all over the world, though, all over the world of people encountering these beings that come to the surface and drag people down to the bottom of it. So, I mean, it's not like it's not impossible. If people claim it, it could be so. I wouldn't want to have anything to do with it, but terrifying, really. Very good. Very interesting.
Yeah. It's again, I'm with you. The TikTok time travelers, meh, but it does sort of kind of make us look down at this time. I always say look up instead of down, but this time, there might be something beneath our feet. So I think it's worth looking down this time. You're the best, Jennifer. What else you got for us tonight?
There have been accounts of large masses of people going missing many times throughout history, because I was thinking about that. The idea of a whole lot of people just going, the rapture thing. But it doesn't even have to be like a rapture. You have the Bermuda Triangle. You have the account of, I guess, since 1988, up in Alaska, they have their own Bermuda Triangle, where 16,000 people have disappeared. Now, a lot of people are just they wandered off. They wandered off into the woods and they disappeared, I would stop going wherever, because 16,000 people, my goodness. And there was some part of the ocean, I remember the Japanese wouldn't let people even sail over it because so many people went missing there. So you have the wars. Now, a lot of that, you'd say, oh, they're missing in action. They died out there and they just had to bury them. Millions. Go look up how many people went missing in World War II. And the number is nearly 1 million lives. Not dead, missing, which, that it's just terrible to imagine. I know there's reason there could be that 1 million people missing, but they're unaccounted for, unknown where they went. And you have these kinds of instances, and you also have just the typical missing. Most people go missing in California, in the United States, apparently, but it's just really strange to imagine that it is not inconceivable at all that a massive amount of people could go missing inexplicably, without account whatsoever. And it's just terrifying to imagine. And the thought that something comes from underneath the earth and just takes them all isn't far-fetched if we don't know where they went. So we can accept that if somebody was to be I don't know that they are down there, if somebody was to say that, I could accept it as well as anything else, because I have no idea. I just know there's a lot of space. A whole nother world, because you have the surface world, you have the core, you can't go near that. But in between all that, there's a lot of area to work with, and I'm assuming a bunch of supernatural beings have made that their home and come to the surface on occasion to either take dominance back over the earth to release a new species of some kind and take another one back down and do something with them down there and then put them back up again? I have no idea. We don't know what's going on because we're kind of new. Human beings are kind of new on the earth, considering it's, I don't know, billions of years old or something. So, I mean, there's no telling what's been walking the earth and building all these things and doing what it will and ruling the roost and then being replaced by an entirely different species altogether. I mean, the Neanderthals and all that. Hard to imagine. I bet they would have never thought they would no longer exist and a whole new species would take hold. I bet they never would have imagined. And neither would we,
100%.
So it's possible.
As always, it's possible and it's complicated because things are not easy, and that's why we talk about them. I appreciate you very much, Jennifer. Always the best.
No, but it's fun.
Yeah, it's fun. Exactly, it's fun.
Have
It's
a good
fun
night.
thinking about it. Thank you for listening. Thanks for calling. Thanks for wrangling the chat and the likes out there. I appreciate that very much. Have a fantastic one. We'll catch you soon. Jennifer has a YouTube channel.
You too.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot. You too. Have a great night. Jennifer has a YouTube channel. Check it out. Links in the description down below. As you can tell, every time Jen calls in, like I always joke with her. I'm like, hey, look, you call in, the whole show turns on its head. Like that's just the way you do things, because she's brilliant, and that's that, right? So check it out. She's got a YouTube channel. Follow in the description down below. Let's inspire her to make more content, and clearly and obviously, she's in the right place. 702-957-1037. Kelly, you got anything on that before we go to this next call?
No, she's just right on what I was talking about earlier. People, these creatures, you just never know, man. There just could be all over the place, and we don't even, like I said, people before, and it's weird because, it's in some old doctrines you could see where, I don't know, like, kind of like it's like a dog people or these people that have like a face on their chest without a head, on their chest. I don't know, there just could be weird, all kinds of stuff that they, and it's not just one culture. Some of it's weird is some of these cultures from around the world sharing the same kind of weird deity or weird, symbolism or something. It's all connected, man, somewhere. But yeah, it's, maybe they come out sometimes in different parts of the world, and you can be tunneled anywhere. You can go anywhere in the world. If you're living underground, you just keep digging. But if you can make, these caverns. Like I was talking, just to bring this up real quick, like I was talking about
Your internet's wonky. Do your magic, please. Your internet's freaking out.
Like the one time they had those, I was brought up in that one show. It was those ancient gold mines that were, the ancient gold mines that they were finding, or just mines they were finding. They thought they were mines anyway, just caverns. And they was De Beers diamond company in South America when they were all when they first was through Africa, and they just told them to blow them up, just blow them up. But yeah, man, you could go anywhere, man. There's possibilities, just like the whole thing where they said that, and I believe it, that we got underground tunnels, like governments have underground tunnel systems. The theory of all these military bases are all connected. That's what I'm saying. And some of these things have been filmed too. You just got to go check them out. Kind of got to look for them. You just go down those rabbit holes, you'll find them. But yeah, man, you never know. There's just like the things on surface. I'm pretty sure there's some stuff underground that we don't. I don't even know if you even want to run into those things.
Yeah, right, exactly. No thanks for me. That's it. Well, like I said, or if we're going to do it, Kelly, let's be prepared. Wink, wink. You're the best, bro. You're the best. Get back to you if you got some time. Let's go. Still taking your phone calls, guys, talking about, this underground species, underground monsters, millions missing this summer, TikTok time travelers. What about this idea of a lost primeval world has been found found in a giant South China sinkhole, right? Then on top of that, was there an intelligent civilization before humans existed. So ... put the things together, and does that mean possibly somehow, some way, this lost intelligent civilization still exists down there and doesn't like us? Boom. Alien invasion from the inside. This lost primeval world from China. Check this out. They expect to find flora and fauna unknown to science. That's plants and animals indeed. 702-957-1037. Let's go back to Matt in Colorado. What's up, brother? Welcome back. How are you? Go right ahead.
I'm doing good. You know, I heard you mentioning Land of the Lost and the Slee Stacks, and I was just like, oh man, does that bring back memories?
Hey, yeah, you're not a whippersnapper. You're getting old like me. You remember Land of the Lost?
I'm a little older than you because I saw it when it originally aired.
Nice.
So I was like six or seven years old. And so I saw it when it first came on because every Saturday morning we go down, we watch cartoons, and I don't remember what time, but it was, you know, after Bugs Bunny, Roadrunner Hour and everything, and it came on. And I tell you what, you know, since you're familiar with it and other people are, but my personal experience, man, those Slee Stack were scary, right? Because they'd go back in there and stuff, and the Slee Stack would come out, and they were like, you know, kind of like zombies. They were really slow moving, and they were afraid of the torches, and they'd be hissing and they were trying to get out, but they were always trying to get back to the really cool Slee Stack's little cave. Now, do you remember who that guy was?
Yeah, the leader of the Slee Stacks.
Right, but he was, what was his name?
Let's see. I think they just call him the leader. No, I don't think he had a name, as far as I'm aware.
No, he had a name. He had a name. His name was Enoch.
Was it really?
Which I've only probably it was, and I've probably only thought of that a couple of times in my life that it's ever popped up, and I just went, you know, wasn't that weird? So they had to go back through these tunnels to get back to where Enoch was. And he had like his own little private cave office type thing. Now, once they got in there, he had like a force field, like you'd see on Star Trek Next Generation when they put somebody into solitary confinement, and there was this invisible force shield that would go up. So once they made it into there, okay, they were totally safe because Enoch was benevolent, and he could speak. Now, the other guys, they were like primitive and violent, and they were after him. But Enoch was like their friend. And then he had that control panel that was like on that stone pedestal. And then it had these rows of, you know, 5 across and 5 down or whatever it was. But it had these rows of the different crystals. And then he had his like webbed hands, and he would dial the crystals and put his hands on the different crystals, right? And then he could open up this interdimensional portal, and they would like see back to the world they came from, would open up in the side of the cave wall. And I don't know how many episodes this is in. It may only have been in one. But there was, I think it was more than one, and they couldn't get through this portal. But one time, he gets the portal open, and they can see like their home and the regular world and everything like that. And they run and they jump through it. And then after they jump through it, then they all come like tumbling out back in the Land of the Lost. And so they're like back to the world they came from, but there's like other copies of them, or it's like a parallel reality where the new versions of them drop back down into the Land of the Lost. Now, that's how they ended the show at the end of the 3rd season, so that when you, like, picked up watching the reruns, right, it all started over again, you know, where they got the little pet dinosaur, I think its name was Dopey or something, the little girl named it Dopey, and she finds this giant strawberry that's 6 feet high, and she's towing it on the little cart, you know. So that's how they started their reruns, was this idea. And it's actually really interesting that I've seen like depictions of the lizard people, extraterrestrials that supposedly live underground, or people have had experiences with, and they actually look a lot like a Sleestak. I mean, I don't know if it's imprinted in the collective consciousness, or if so many people just saw Land of the Lost when they were kids that's affected them, or the other possibility, maybe they're real. Maybe that's what they actually look like. And, how many times has science fiction either depicted reality or become reality? I mean, Arthur C. Clarke, right, he invented the idea of the satellite that was in a science fiction novel, and then a scientist comes along and says, hey, you know what, that's not a bad idea. We can take these parabolic things, we can beam these signals around. The robots, you watch the old movies from the 50s, they had robots. Well, now look what China's doing with robots. They're, so science fiction becomes reality. Or do the science fiction writers tap into reality or through time or into something and pick up on it? Like Einstein got the theory of relativity in his dreams. Descartes invented analytic geometry came to him by a visitation, supposedly, of an angel when he was in a coke oven, hiding in the war. So, I mean, we get a lot of things from some weird places through the cosmos. So, what about the concept that the guys who wrote Land of the Lost were actually telling the truth, and the Sleestak are real, and these reptilian creatures, subterranean creatures, are real? And maybe they knew, maybe they had some knowledge of that and wove it into their story, kind of like they do in Star Trek or the movie The Matrix, where they're trying to pass along a message. Hey, people, this is something that's true. There's a lot of options there. What do you think? Which of those options you like?
Yeah, it's interesting. You're in the right place because we talk about this all the time in terms of something being in the air, right? Like the next thing is going to be invented, the next thing, right? Like we kind of don't know what that is, but people like us, and I hate to say that as we're some sort of new priest class or something, because I don't believe that at all. But there are dreamers, right? And there are, again, like you said, Arthur C. Clarke, and there maybe the Sleestak inventors and the rest of this, right? So maybe they're drawing on something from the past, but also, by the way, they're probably looking to the future in the same sense of, okay, this is maybe a something we're creating based on a mythology, based on an old story, but we're going to sort of reframe it in a new context, right? And in Land of the Lost, the Sleestak themselves were, as described in the new wikis and everything else, they say that they were native to the Land of the Lost, but also they were had fled from wherever they came from as a sort of a refugee situation. They were there because wherever they came from was being destroyed or whatever. That's very much like the Anunnaki story, right? With Tiamat,
right,
and Planet X and the rest of this. But real quick, so you're in the right place in that. So we ask the question often on this show regarding that. Okay, look, if you imagine something and you create something in a fictional term, all right, and you put it out there into the universe, right, and people read it, is that a manifestation of what you created? The more people read it, you've created something because now it is in the zeitgeist. It now becomes on the top of people's minds from, let's say, your imagination. You wrote this book. Maybe your book spawns who knows what. You know what I'm saying? And so the question becomes, if we're talking about creating things through fiction that become reality, and in many cases, you can talk about Philip K. Dick and simulation theory. You can talk about, like you said, Arthur C. Clarke and the satellite. You can talk about a lot of things regarding, what about George Orwell in 1984, for fuck's sakes? That is like, bam, right? Like that dude, he created the surveillance state, right?
You wish, if what you're saying is true, you wish that he wouldn't have written that book because it's all come to pass and coming to pass, right? It's like, Dave, that's not some good fiction to lay down if it's going to manifest and become reality, because now we're, going into some kind of thought-controlled police state stuff. It's like, write a more positive book. If you're going to write one, and it's going to come true. But
no, I agree.
Yeah,
I agree.
I definitely.
Go ahead and finish. Sorry.
I see that as a potential for sure, and I think there's definitely a certain amount of that creative element in the, if you want to call it zeitgeist, or writing the fiction and have things come true, and I think that extends that all the way up to the physical universe. I think is exactly that. I think that's how it was created. It was imagined. It was imagined. Some laws, some principles, rules of the game, the computer program simulation, even though we talked about it's not exactly how I see it. But, the creator of the physical universe, which is, I don't think, the only universe. I mean, third dimensional. There's other, non-physical and other dimensional ones. But so there could be more than one creator. But the being that created this one, that's exactly how he did it. It was like he dreamt it up. It was like science fiction. He's like, oh, yeah, I could have, planets and stars, and I'll make them spin in spirals, and then we'll have different beings, and then stuff will evolve, and then, set down
and here we are.
The parameters and the rules of how stuff worked, the physics, and he dreamt it, and then it became manifest.
Yeah.
Now we're just lower levels of that same being that have that same energy and that same consciousness within us. So yes, of course, we can do that same thing. I mean, that's how somebody creates a business, right? That's how somebody creates anything. They imagine it first.
Hey, Matt.
The idea, they have the imagination.
Hey, Matt, that's how somebody creates a radio show. Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
You're correct. Hey, I didn't get here by accident. It was a lot of hard work, 4 years plus going on this show. You just found us, but there was a vision. There was a vision, and I wanted it to be exactly what it is right now. It's fucking weird, man. It is super weird that right. If you think of something and you structure your habits to be in line with that goal, how things happen. It's weird, dude. It's weird. We got to cut. We're about to get out of here. You're the best. I appreciate you. Again, thanks for finding us. Thanks for the amazing insights and takes you got for us. And let's get the hell out of here. We go Monday through Thursday, so it's a long weekend for us. We're going to go take we have a news show tomorrow at 3 p.m. Pacific on Twitch, but we're going to take the weekend off. We'll be back Monday, though. You're the best, bro. Thanks for finding us. I feel like I made a new friend, Matt in Colorado. Please, if you can, share your book with us. Like you said, I'm looking forward to reading that, okay?
Okay. Sounds good. Well, listen, you're an excellent host. I appreciate the call-in format, and I'm glad that you've manifested your vision and you're doing it because it's important work.
Amen, brother. Thank you very much. Thanks for loving it. I'm glad that you're here. We'll talk to you soon. Have a fantastic night.
Okay, you too.
There you go. Easy as that. Hey, look, making new friends on a daily basis. The Troubled Minds Nation gets bigger and bigger, one at a time, and there you go. Do you feel like he's in the right place? Do you feel like that guy is in the right place, right? Literally, we talk about that same stuff he was talking about all the damn time. Don't we? Kelly, what do you got on that real quick? We'll go to Jay in New York just in case he's got something. He said he was just lurking. But what about that, man? What about manifestation and creating things and changing your habits to, I don't know, maybe alter the universe? That's fucked up, isn't it? Kind of.
Well, yeah, you could, that's a whole different, that's true what he's saying, though, with manifestation. I believe that a lot, You have to feel it, not only see it, feel it, but think it like it's already happened, and that's, everybody can do that. It depends on, that just depends on the person, themselves too. For it could be like, whatever, if you want to live in misery or you want to live in happiness or whatever, just like example with you, you've seen your goal as making this radio show, and, you did it, so. That's good for you on that one too.
Good for us.
One more thing too. I just wanted to.
Good for us. Yeah, go ahead.
One more thing. Well, I was just going to add was another thing was not only that, we find the reptilian type race, but remember you have also
internet. Your internet.
It was
reptilian race.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yeah, better. Go ahead.
Okay, well, the children of Woolpit, or the you remember that story, right?
Yep, the green kids. Yep.
Yeah. So and that was weird too that they were green, and then the little boy died, but the little girl, they finally lost her. They got, I guess, their what we would call their color back, right? But when they came here, they were green. And if that was the case, that'd be something like that. You would live underground. I don't know, man. It's who knows the whole over theory or whatnot. But something's pretty strange when you go down to a certain depth. I would say you never know what's living down there.
Amen. 100%. You're the best, Kelly. I appreciate you very much. Let's go to Jay. Jay, New York. Jay, are you there? Test 1 2. If you're not, he says he was just lurking and listening.
I'm pushing the button. No,
hey, no hurry.
Heads up, so I could.
Hey, you're fine. I'm not
enter my passcode. It's 9999999 in case anybody needs to know, so I could get it off a screensaver mode to unmute.
You're fine, bro. You're fine, bro.
15-second hunt, please.
You're fine, bro. You're fine. I just want to make sure if you had some data, I didn't want to cut you off here because you said you were just lurking to listen. But what are your thoughts? What do you got for us tonight?
Wow, damn it, Mike. I wanted to tell you a story before I was going to do my best to talk to you while you were on the radio with No Sailor Talk. When I first bought the funeral home, I had one of the guys from the other funeral homes in town come over, and he was trying to get me to sell him the antique equipment. So buying me drinks after work and everything else like that, trying to get me into the house and everything else like that. And he told me the story one time is that there are monsters under the ground, and that's why we bury our people in the ground, is because the monsters come up and eat them and they leave us alone. And it was just that.
I remember that story. You told me that story. I remember that.
That's wicked weird, right? And then you had that one when I saw the TikTok time traveler and the monsters coming out of the ground and all that. And I was like, wow, this is going to go a long ways around the barn. This conversation is. But no, I have so much that's crazy, that's just, that all of it keeps coming up that way. And then you brought up that 70s show that you used to watch on late night TV when you were working over at your, having a sleepover at your buddy's house because your mom and dad wanted to go out to dinner or something, whatever. It's just like, I remember watching that, and I was like, yeah, that's nuts. They're just like lurking underneath the ground. And then, Kelly was saying there, those things we got buried in the ground everywhere. I mean, they're everywhere you could possibly imagine. We're digging in the ground. Cleveland has salt mines there that are, it's probably almost the size of the city underneath the lake. If that ever caved in and the lake dropped into there, what kind of stuff would start growing? The China thing that's been going on. They've known about that for years and years. I mean, I remember looking into that at the beginning of the internet, when we just started looking at goofy stuff on the internet.
Hey, Jay, we're old enough to remember the days before the internet.
I remember somebody reading a comic book and talking about that around a campfire.
We're the dinosaurs,
you young
Jay.
Whippersnappers don't know nothing.
Damn whippersnappers, get off my lawn. We're getting old, Jay. Hey, I remember let's say, not quite half, but like I'm getting a little bit older now, like probably I'm on the older side of the internet. But for like my formative years and like my entire time in school and everything else, even my young adulthood, no internet. No internet. It's so man,
weird. Even when we were high school kids, man, it was taught in church, man, don't do nothing with the internet. That's the devil's thing,
That's the devil's thing.
It might very well be, we'll never know, us here talking the way that we talk, because we're in that gray line headed towards the white. But, there's definitely that darker side of the line of the people on the internet that are headed towards the opposite side of the yang, as one might say.
I think so. It's like I said, I don't like to make those proclamations because I don't want to, alienate folks that are different than us. So I'm with you. I feel what you're putting down, and that's what we do, right? What's up? What's I see you guys in the chat, and here we are. Here we are doing our thing. I appreciate all of you so much. What else you got for us, Jay? I'm not going to try and cut you off. It's Trouble Minds Friday night. We got time for you, my man. What else you got for us?
Well, no, I didn't want to keep you up late, Mike. I mean, I really don't. I mean,
I'm gonna be up late anyway.
Obviously,
so no problem.
Well, yeah, but that Matt guy. I mean, has he heard about the Discord?
Yeah. That's a good idea. Troubledminds.org. Click the Discord link. Come find out. I'm on the Discord right now with Jay and with Kelly. And Night Stalker called in on the Discord earlier. James does as well often. It's like a telephone, but also you can use it as just regular chat, old school chat rooms. And it's amazing. It's amazing. Troubledminds.org. Click the Discord link. Come meet these people. They are like I said. I cut them off a lot because we got the show to get to. We got to share the space with other people and stuff. So I as the moderator of this space, I do a lot of that. Come talk to them after the show. They're all amazing and more amazing than you would expect here on the show. So just come meet them all. There are so many great people. If I name people, I'll forget Robert. So I got to say the Robert 3 times. But come meet these amazing people. They're on Discord, troubleminds.org. Click the Discord link. What else you got, my friend?
I was just thinking is that like how we're put into like what we're watching on television. I mean, one of the things that brought me up, Night Stalker and I had a brief chat about it, was an Amazon show, like Outer Range, I believe the name of it is.
Yep, I got it. Hold on, right there. Boom, Outer Range, 2022. A rancher,
those are big holes in the ground.
Yep. A rancher fighting for his land and family discovers an unfathomable mystery at the edge of Wyoming's wilderness. There it is. And the only reason I know about that is because of Derek, the Night Stalker. There you go. Correct.
It's a fantastic. I mean, it's just well written and everything else like that. I mean, if you're looking for, entertainment when you're going to bed and stuff like that, that's a great show to watch.
You've seen it?
But I got 2 more episodes to go before I'm done.
Nice.
But yeah,
okay, sweet.
So I'm into it a bit. But it's just that same kind of like thought process that goes on here, and letting your mind rattle all on the ways. It's a great way to have it. It's a brilliant exercise. I mean, everyone that called in today I caught you at 45 minutes before the on the air thing went off. So I listened to a lot of what everybody had to say. I could talk to every one of those people for hours. I mean, just how does all this go on? I mean, the possibility is Jen's idea about there's a lot of area underneath there. I mean, they're pretty far down there in Russia. The cameras are melting and the audio is off the board that they can't even listen to it anymore about the sounds down that far. I mean, but that's a lot of area between here and there that anybody could be doing anything, whether it's, Sasquatch's hand pickaxe thing dug into the ground so they don't have to deal with us because we're assholes. Well, we'll just live underground and come out at night or whatever when people don't notice us. I mean, really, I mean, all the possibilities that you could think about of all these things is just amazing. Brilliant conversations today. I don't know. I could rattle on for hours. I suppose that's why we do the Discord afterwards.
Amen. Amen. You're the best, bro. You're the best. I appreciate it very much. Look, he's right. So many nights we do sometimes. Like I try and stay up as much as I can, but I have other obligations, responsibilities I got to take care of. So sometimes if I can stay up super late, I do, and sometimes I stay up too fucking late. But we lots of people kind of hang out. Look, there's a new rule on the Discord. Okay, there's a new rule, and it came to light as a result of last night, the conversations we had after the fact. Don't tell me how great I am, please. Stop. Please stop. My ego is so large as it is. If everybody shows up and tells me, Michael Strange, you're great, you're going to create a monster, okay? I'm not saying don't show up and shit on me. Don't do that, right? But let's talk about things. I appreciate it. I really do. I'm so glad this resonates with so many people, and you appreciate the work I've done to get it here, the work we've done collectively as a group. But I'm just a person. I'm just a person. So please.
We might need a bunch of monsters to combat all of those things that are about to come out of the ground, Mike.
All right. Then maybe you can create the ego monster, but for the time being, all right? A new Discord rule for the after chat. No telling Michael Strange how great he is, okay? It's a new rule. It's just because, it's uncomfortable for me. I have to just deflect and say, yes, thank you. That's very nice of you. I know because I'm an egomaniac, right? But also, it's just weird. It makes it weird for me. So if you do that a lot, I won't come around. You see what I'm saying? So let's just chill. We don't have to do that. I'm just like you. I promise. I'm just like you. Look, if you want to manifest something like this, like Troubled Minds, do it. Honestly, do it. You think that we got here in this moment accidentally? I can't even begin to tell you the blood, sweat, and tears that got us to this point. Right? Pushing a mountain up a mountain is what I've been told. You can't do it, Mike. This is not an easy niche. You can't just get in here knowing nothing, being nobody. You're pushing a mountain up a mountain. Well, Jay, hold my beer.
It's taller.
Hold my beer.
Now that mountain's taller. I got you, Mike. I'll hold that beer.
Thank you.
I'll drag the keg up behind you.
Thank you. Yeah,
we're gonna drink maybe juice at the top of it and build a bonfire.
There you go. We're almost there, guys. We've almost successfully pushed a mountain up a mountain, and here we are. So you got a J-tro for us, my friend? You got an outro?
I do. I picked it's by Yoda.
Nice.
And it was from a couple of days ago. I think it fits.
Nice. All right, perfect. So here's what we're gonna do. As you guys know, right?
It's brief.
That's fine. So we'll do the music thing and wait for the bass to drop all the stuff. Jay here in New York, good friend of mine, good friend of Troubled Minds, and he's out there spreading the good word, doing his thing, and saying, hey, come listen to these guys. It's a fantastic conversation, and it's again agnostic in all ways, non-denominational. Let's just talk. Let's just realize that we're all people, and people deserve that level of respect of a conversation without calling people pedos and Nazis, right? I mean, it's the dumbest thing ever, that political discourse anymore. It just literally turning people into monsters, and I don't like it. And so here we go. We created our own space with our own time and our own everything and our own energy, and look, isn't it magnificent? All right, let's do it. I'm going to play some music, and so the bad news is we're done. This one's for Jay in New York. The good news is, God willing, we've got tomorrow. Here we go. Let's play some music. Smash the thing. I'm going to give you the boom, boom, boom. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, cryptids, reptilians, intraterrestrials, extraterrestrials, all of the above, I present to you Jay in New York.
Many of the truths that we cling to depend on our point of view. And that's from Yoda.
Indeed. And that's what he was talking to Luke Skywalker in that moment. Luke said to him, why didn't you tell me? Right? No. Wait, that was Obi-Wan, right?
Yeah, I think it might have been.
Hey! Did I just debunked your quote. I channeled for a moment That was Obi-Wan Kenobi. That was not Yoda. That's how well I know my old school Star Wars. The new Star Wars is shit. But not The Mandalorian and not that stuff's pretty good. But like the 3 new movies, in my opinion.
Really?
Shit.
That's not a Yoda quote?
No, that's Obi-Wan Kenobi. When Luke asked him, "Why didn't you tell me Vader was my father?" Read that quote again as Obi-Wan Kenobi. Say it again.
Many of the truths that we cling to depend on our point of view.
That's Obi-Wan Kenobi. I'm nearly certain of it. 95% plus. I'm nearly certain of it.
I'll believe you long before I believe the internet that I picked the quote out of.
All right. Maybe I could be wrong. Anyway, look, it doesn't fucking matter. We're not about wrong and right. The quote is fantastic. No matter who said it. It's George Lucas and that Empire Strikes Back. And I think actually,
Indeed.
I think the quote actually came from Return of the Jedi. See? Don't fuck with me on my old school Star Wars. I know what's up. All right, look. No. I'll check. We're going to follow up on this, Jay. This is not over yet. Don't worry. And it's, you know me, it's not confrontational. It's all good. I appreciate the quote. Look, as we finish, guys, it goes like this. If you want to help the show, there are a number of ways. You can actually sub up on Patreon. You can sub up on Twitch. We do a news show on Monday and Friday, 3 p.m. Pacific on Twitch. You can sub up on Rockfin. That's probably the best value. You get not just Troubled Minds bonus stuff on demand. You also get all the other people that are on Rockfin. Tons of Jimmy Dore, Abby Martin, Michael Tracy, Sam Tripoli, on and on and on. Rockfin's probably the best value. If you don't want to spend money, the other thing too, real quick, we have Troubled Minds merch at troubledfans.com. Troubledfans.com, hats, shirts, all the rest of that stuff. I got a new hat coming. I'll wear it on the stream and show you. There's some pretty cool choices. But there you go. If you don't want to spend money, I get it. Spread the word. Your time and energy here is important. We see you. I hear you. I'm looking at the chat. I see the lurkers. This is all important. Number 2, you can also help by not spending money by just playing episodes from the podcast feed. There's 418 up there right now. So I guarantee you probably haven't heard most of those. So just play them while you're cooking dinner one time. There's ads baked in. Let the ads run. It helps. It sends me a few cents every time you do that. So thank you so much for being part of this. Thank you so much for making this a dream come true, really. And as we finish, it goes exactly like this. Be sure, be strong, be true. Thank you for listening. From our troubled minds to yours, have a great night.